Good morning, everybody. This is the Oskar Quentin Show, where I debate politics and related matters with strangers on TikTok. If you're watching after the fact, you can find a pinned comment at the top that'll tell you when the first oppositional call starts and timestamps of the rest of the show in the description, which I can now say with greater confidence are happening on time because I have hired some people to help me run the show. So, W mods, W friends, W chat, and W staff, because we have some people who now have obligations to me. I didn't want to give people strict obligations who are donating their time to the show, because dozens of people donate their time to the show, because it just feels wrong to give somebody obligations on a volunteer basis. So I had some things where to offload the show, I needed to offload the workload of the show to make the show better so that I have more time to live stream and work on the creative projects. I just needed to pay some people for that. Yeah, we're trying to up the production value with all that YouTube money and donation money. So that's the plan. Happy Pride, everybody. I think it's delightfully wonderful that the 69th episode of my show has landed on Pride Saturday at the end of June. How serendipitous. So get your dick jokes in the chat now. Let's try not to have that be too disruptive of the show. Other news, the Sunday show, 7 p.m. Central Time. Tomorrow, we are not having Doug Chapin. We are having him soon, but there was a scheduling conflict. No shade. Politician's gonna politician, so it goes. So all the work that's happening on the Discord to prepare for that is still good. He will be a Sunday evening show. Tomorrow evening show, to be determined. It is Pride weekend, so I might do an outdoor version of the show, go do some coverage, that sort of thing. So that'll get planned by me and the mod team over the next 24 hours. We'll figure it out. Anyway, Let the Wookiee In says graphics on the sign. Well, you know, like with increasing production value, right? Like the idea is that if I offload work to people, the show should get better because I have more free time. So this morning I had slightly more free time, so I drew the baby bottle emojis on the sign, which to me was very fun. And you know, I didn't want to just say that like MAGA are homophobes or something on Pride Day. I wanted to say that they're insecure, because I think that that's really what it comes down to at the end of the day. They're so bothered by other people doing things that they don't want to be accused of doing themselves, or maybe they want to do those things themselves and they want to stay in the closet about it, or whatever exactly it is that has the conservatives so upset at the homosexuals and, you know, the LGBTQIA plus community generally. You know, I think it is deeply seated in homophobia, in insecurity, and I think that comes from the fact they'll say things to me like, oh, well, what if somebody thought you were gay? I'd be like, who cares? Who gives a shit? What does it matter? Like, it just doesn't affect my life. Anyway, we're going to talk to Gabe. Hopefully we're going to hit the ground running today, and we're going to start a productive call just 3 minutes into the show.
You're not talking.
Gabe, how old are you? No, we're not going to have a productive day. Gabe is an insecure. You know, I think maybe the baby bottles are apt for the callers today so far. What's going on in the chat? Hello, everybody. Hello, all the regulars. Oh, and welcome to the new mod team on YouTube. I took some trusted people and I made them moderators on YouTube before I started the show today. So a bunch of people's usernames have turned blue over there. So get some W's in the chat, especially over on the YouTube chat for the new mods. Because if your name is blue, I trust you to keep the chat under control. We're going to talk to Exterminator2. Exterminator with an X at the beginning, not an E. I've spoken to him before, but not for a while. How old are you?
I'm 21.
Okay, do you support?
Okay, do you support Trump? I support ICE. We could talk about ICE, but real quickly, I don't mean to take control.
You already have.
Okay, sorry about that. But we did talk.
You're not sorry about that. Continue.
Okay, we did talk before. We was talking about ChatGPT, and you was trying to explain that it was unreliable source. Mm-hmm. I explained to you how it wasn't. And then you kicked me off the panel. I'm just wondering if we could have an actual discussion, a formal discussion.
Do we need to look at the help page from OpenAI, the company that makes ChatGPT, where they say it's unreliable?
Yeah, let's open it.
You debunked that the help document from the service that you're defending says that it's unreliable?
No, that's not what I debunked. I debunked your argument. You try to misinterpret what they were saying to prove your claim that it was unreliable source. That's what I debunked.
Oh, God.
If you want to pop up the page, we can go by this conversation.
No,
again
we've already done it. No, my regular viewers have already seen it. No, there's this thing that people do. Here, I will respond to why I'm not going to put it up on the screen, which is that a thing happens on this show pretty... I'm going to explain why I do that. Are you going to let me? You can call it an excuse. The audience can assess whether it's an excuse. Can they listen to my explanation and judge whether or not it's an excuse? You can judge whether it's an excuse. It'll be more interesting if they hear what I have to say before you respond. I think that this thing happens on the show where somebody like you has a very, very bad argument, like that ChatGPT is reliable. And I bring a really good source that says, nope, no, it isn't. The help document from the people who made ChatGPT warns that it's not accurate, warns that it's not a good resource for these sorts of things.
What do they say verbatim?
Excuse me, I'm not done giving my explanation about why we're not going to look at that again, because we have looked at it verbatim on 2 separate occasions together, you and me, and it is a waste of my fucking time to do it again. And because it's a waste of my time, you get to call in and act as though I am running by refusing to look at it. But there's this beautiful thing about the way that I run this show, which is a somewhat professional way, which is that every single conversation that happens on this show gets posted for posterity on YouTube. So people can go find that conversation. We're actually working on getting the descriptions with the timestamps searchable so that people can go find every time I've talked to Exterminator 2. That's why I'm so careful about getting the names in the descriptions. I want to create that resource on oskarquentin.com so people can go answer the question, why is Oskar Quentin unwilling to talk to Exterminator 2? It's because he's been on this episode number and that episode number. I don't have it off the top of my head, but people can go look at that and demonstrate and see, obviously, that this conversation is a waste of fucking time. Bring me something new or I'm going to kick you.
Okay, great. We could talk about ICE, but really quickly, what the page says is that it possibly could be wrong.
No,
once again, this
something new. We can talk about ICE.
Exactly. You're scared. Yeah, we can talk about
right.
ICE.
I just explained exactly why you're gonna, in the context of this episode, maybe look like I'm running, but I think I made a pretty good case for the fact that I'm not. What do you want to talk about ICE?
You don't feel like it? That was your case, but yeah, why do you say fuck ICE?
Nah, dude, that's not what I said. You know it. That's disingenuous. Get this bullshit off my show. Recant that that's what I said, or I'm gonna kick you. I'm not having it today.
Okay, what did you say?
Recant that is specifically not what I said. Say that's not what you said, Oskar, or I'm going to kick you. The end.
Okay. That is what you said. The end.
I will kick you if you don't recant it. We can move on. There's already other people in the queue. I'm not doing it today.
Okay.
Goodbye.
That's what you said.
Goodbye. I'll have them on another day. Sometimes I'm okay with the disingenuous bullshit. Not today. Not feeling it today. I feel like we're going to have a better show than that. I am also going to invite up one of my very special friends, Oskar Quentin 2. He's the backup account. Click on that if you're watching on TikTok and follow me there so that if the show gets taken down for some stupid reason like TikTok censorship, you'll be able to watch the show. We're going to do it on that account when that happens. We're going to talk to Logan. We're going to see if he is going to bring me some stale argument that he's brought me before, lie to my face about what I just said, and then get kicked for it.
Today, he hurt your feelings.
No, he's just wasting time on my show. How old are you?
Beta boy calling other people
How old
insecure.
How old are you?
Oh, you're so
How old are you?
Dude. Oh, Trump.
TOS, dude, you're going to get kicked. How old are you? You have to tell me how old you are. All right, Logan's gone. We're going to talk to Neb, N-E-B-B. We're going to see if he is capable of abiding with basic rules, manners, TOS, that sort of thing. How old are you?
I'm 20.
Sorry, say that again.
20.
20. Navex, thank you so much for the membership on YouTube. Welcome to the party. You're 20. Do you support Trump?
Nah.
Oh, just looking for Trump supporters for now. You can call back in later if you want to have fun and chat. We're going to talk to Chicken, whose username is Chicken, and then a chicken emoji. We're going to see if he's a chicken. I hope not. How old are you?
21.
21. Do you support Trump?
No, but I want you, big boy. You looking so fucking good. I love me a white male.
It's Pride Day and it's the 69th episode. We're going to probably have some of that going on. We're going to talk to my daddy. Similar tone? We'll see. My daddy, how old are you?
You're blushing a little bit after that last one.
It's silly what's going on. How old are you?
45.
45. Do you support Trump? Oh my God.
Absolutely.
Heavensley, welcome to the Oskar Quentin show on YouTube. You just became a supporter. Thank you so much. Sorry. Tell me again how old you are?
45. Absolutely support Trump.
Why is that?
For everything he's doing. I'm up here for your fuck ICE flag. I want to know why you say fuck ICE.
They disobey the Constitution, and I would say fuck any organization that regularly and flagrantly violates the Constitution.
Okay, that's fair. How are they disregarding the Constitution?
One thing that I've personally seen a lot of examples of is their violation of the First Amendment by assaulting people and giving them unlawful orders when they exercise their First Amendment right from the street corner. Don't like that at all.
So are they going up to just random people and doing things, or are these people engaging and obstructing with the ICE officers?
See, you gave a little bit of a false dichotomy here, because it's not as though there's only two possibilities. Totally random guy walking down the street and then somebody committing committing a crime, obstruction is a crime, you do recognize that there's an in-between. Like, instead of being some random person who's just walking down the street minding their own business, you are allowed to stand on the street corner and say, hey, ICE agent, I think that you are a piece of shit. I think what you're doing is un-American. Right, so I'm talking about that group of people that you didn't mention.
And they're not, and ICE isn't just going up to people because they're telling them to fuck off.
Yes, they are.
And causing a scene.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely not. Where's your proof of that? Give me one example of that.
There's footage of that I have filmed if you scroll far enough back on my TikTok account. I have a video where a person gets maced for doing absolutely nothing but standing on the street corner taking a photograph of an ICE agent.
I'm sure there's more to that story than that little bit of context you provided there.
There's lots of examples of what I'm talking about. It's a widespread problem, and I think it's this. How old do you think I am?
I'm going to say mid-20s.
I'm 30. I'll be 31 next month.
Well, happy birthday to you.
Why is that relevant?
Where was all this? So you were around. So you're 30. So you were around when Obama was there, late second term. Were you this outraged when ICE was using the exact same practices, exact same rules, and when he deported 3.5 million?
No, that's not what happened. What was specifically the reason I said that I say fuck ICE?
Because they went up against, or they go up to supposedly just. They point out somebody, go up.
That was an example of my reason. What was my reason? Demonstrate that your attention span's longer than that. That's an example of my reason. What was the reason?
Yeah. That's exactly. I mean, that's what you said.
No, I gave you my reason. I gave you my reason. I gave. Stop. Listen. Nope.
Right.
Use your brain. Listen. Use your ears. Think about what I'm saying to you. Listen to what I'm about to say. I gave you a reason why I say fuck ICE, and then you said give me an example of that, and then I gave you what you just said, which is them violating people's First Amendment right. What was the reason? Demonstrate that you're capable of tracking a conversation for longer than 30 seconds.
I got 2 out of the 3 of your talking points, brother. What was?
It's not a scorecard about talking points. It's about remembering what the conversation is about. What was my reason? Let's review. Why do I say fuck ICE? Let's review. Why do I say fuck ICE?
Why do you say fuck ICE?
Yeah, okay, you asked me earlier. Show me that you were listening and you remember what I said.
Just repeat it, brother. What'd you say?
Can you admit that you've forgotten?
Yeah, sure, man. Go for it.
Say I have forgotten even though it was 2 seconds ago.
Why is this such a flex to you? Just repeat what you said.
Because it demonstrates that you're not really engaging in this conversation like an adult. I think you're capable of listening. I'm not. That's a failing grade in this classroom, buddy. I'm sorry.
Absolute hack. These men are out here protecting you and I.
I will engage with your question about Obama. I will engage with your question about Obama if you admit that you forgot what I said. What was it? 3 minutes ago?
Sure, man. I forgot.
Okay. The reason I say fuck ICE is because they so regularly violate the Constitution. I recognize that. Okay. I recognize. Listen, I'm not done talking because now I'm going to answer your question about Obama. Obama did deport quite a lot of people. Did I say that I hate ICE because they deport a lot of people? Is that what I said?
Nope.
Okay, what I said.
Using the same tactics. And
false. They don't. Show me a video. Show me a video of one of Obama's ICE agents macing a protester.
I believe
show me a video. Yes, 56 across millions of deportations over 8 years. Sounds like an appropriate rate of officers misbehaving.
Oh, so it's an appropriate rate when Obama's ICE.
Are you going to let me talk?
But Trump does it. Trump does it now, and let's just make it bigger than it
What's the rate with Trump? How many cases?
I have no idea. Not that worried about it.
Thousands.
No, there's not.
You can just call bullshit on that, but there's a pile of evidence of ICE agents misbehaving in exactly the way that I'm describing. It's disingenuous for you to suggest otherwise.
Because
I would like to address a specific claim. I would like to address a specific thing that you said, which is that you kind of laughed at, kind of scoffed at the idea that 8 incidences in 8 years is like not very many. I'm arguing that it isn't very many, because there's been that, like, many more than that in the short time that Trump has been president this time. Also, it makes a big difference that an officer misbehaving can be one of those bad apples that we shouldn't let spoil the bunch. We can investigate that. We can reprimand that. I'm not done. Listen,
I don't think
I'm not done. You're in listening mode right now.
Hiring cops.
Yep, real bad. We can investigate that. We can have people say that's against company policy, against organization policy. We can say that's against the law. We can do that. That's not what's fucking happening this time. This time, the people at the top, people like Stephen Miller, Kristi Noem, Donald Trump, are defending their behavior.
Get that, Chad. I'm not drunk.
Goodbye.
Bye.
You said it out loud, but it wasn't going to be a very productive conversation anyway. So if you're enjoying the show, I'm in kind of a snappy mood today. I wasn't expecting to be, but for whatever reason, not having it today. You don't always get snappy, Oscar. A lot of time it's much more chill than that. If you enjoy the show, you can go to the linktree in the bio and follow me on other platforms. That helps out for free, as does following Oskar Quentin 2 down here. Thank you. Branca? Thank you for the gift. Yeah, you can follow the backup account. That'll help a lot for when, I get taken down for accidentally saying one of the no words or something like that. None of those things cost a dime. And if you have a dime that you want to spare to help out the show, you can send it to my Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon, working on an international option. I know that's a thing we're looking for. And I do have a couple of donations to read out that came in. I think one is just at the end of yesterday's show. I don't think I think I noticed it when the show ended. Bonnie sent me $10 on Venmo just to say, love the show. Appreciate you, Bonnie. Matt sent me a big donation. Matt sent me like $65, like in the middle of the night. He just says the truth. Thank you, Matt. Matt. Sue just now sent me $10 on Venmo to say, she says, I'm a consistent Dean and Parker watcher, but have been appreciating your streams even more since I discovered you, mainly because you don't take people's shit and you don't start yelling. Good luck and keep it up. Well, today I'm not taking people's shit. I am arguably doing a little bit of yelling, but I know what you're getting at. That tends to be the vibe I try to run the show with, and I very much appreciate you, Sue. And I also appreciate Kronos, who just sent a YouTube super chat, said, us gays made you snappy for our day. We like sassy Oskar. Yes. Maybe I'm gearing up sassy Oskar for Pride Day, because it is devastating walking around on Pride Day and telling all the guys that I'm not gay, because unfortunately for them, I'm not. But appreciate you, Kronos. We do have another caller. We've got Steve. There are a number of Steves who call in regularly. Most of them are quite mean to me. We'll see if Steve is one of them. We'll see if this Steve is one of them. I don't know which one he is, or if he's a new Steve. How old are you, Steve?
I'm 58.
58. Do you support Trump?
Yes, I do. And I'm not mean, so don't worry about it.
Lovely. Why do you support Trump?
Wait, what happened here to my screen? What'd you do?
I didn't do anything. If I can hear you, you can hear me. That should be all we need, right?
Yeah, that's true. All right. For multiple reasons. But one thing, I've been watching a lot of these streams, anti-Trump and anti-Republican streams and all that. And one of the things that I keep thinking about is I have a question. So without bashing Trump or without mentioning Trump, tell me why I should be a Democrat, not a Republican.
I think that if you look at the outcomes for average working people in this country, and certainly poor people, the Democrats are working on some policies that are much better just on average for what the course of the average person's life is going to be. And I think that if we're going to go just with some core values about what the country should be for, it says in the preamble of the Constitution that the government exists to promote the public welfare. So I think we've been dropping the ball lately on living up to that really, really important thing that the founding fathers decided to put in the preamble of the Constitution. Never mind the articles and amendments. They said all these articles and amendments, they are for this specific mission statement. That mission statement is to promote the public welfare. And I think the Democrats do a better job of promoting the public welfare.
That's it?
Well, that's like an umbrella under which a bunch of individual examples that I could talk about sit. But broadly, that's my perspective on American politics, right now.
But you didn't give me any reason. What has any Democratic president in the last 16 years done that's so great?
Oh, well, the Biden administration passed a lot of bipartisan infrastructure. In fact, it's one of the little talking points for Kamala Harris in terms of her political experience is that she was the tie-breaking vote on more legislation than any vice president ever has been. If we look at that specific legislation, it does the sorts of things I'm talking about. A really good one is the Save America Act. That was, or not the Save America Act, the American Rescue Plan. Mixed it up with the current policy that I don't like. Anyway, that was because we had this massive amount of inflation because of how we handled COVID. That was bad. We knew that was coming. We were like, all right, we got to do some stimulus checks, make sure that people don't go homeless, make sure that people can buy their groceries. That's way more important than inflation down the road, but we're going to have some inflation down the road. So Biden did this thing where he had a bunch of policy, a bunch of bills passed that created government spending and things that counteracted some of these economic problems that we ran into because of COVID. He fixed that. The infrastructure bill contributed to that, and itself was also just good because infrastructure is very good. Some of the most prosperous times in the country are times when we've spent large amounts of taxpayer money on infrastructure. I'm talking 50s, 60s, and 70s when the highest corporate and personal tax rates were somewhere up 70, as high as 90% in 1950. These are examples of policies that are good for American people and promote the public welfare in the way that I've been describing. I could keep going.
No, I'm just saying, because rather than Trump's president already, he's already a president.
Sorry, I thought we weren't talking about Trump.
Right. No, that's my point. It's like, I don't understand why it's a Trump bashing.
I'm sorry. Could you just like give me like a maybe your opinion about some of the stuff I said? Do you think it's true what I said? It's important in these conversations we make sure that if I say something you don't think is true, you tell me that's not true, so we can. Go ahead
when you're done repeating what you already said.
Go ahead.
I think mostly everything you said was a lot of woulda, coulda, shouldas.
I'm talking about stuff that did happen.
Right, but nothing really.
Not woulda, shoulda. I didn't say that Kamala Harris should have been the tie-breaking vote on a bunch of important infrastructure bills and stuff, and those sorts of things. I said that she was.
Did anything? Oskar?
Yes, they did. They are continuing to do things.
No, not really.
What was the inflation rate at the end of Biden's term?
Literally 4.3, and we're at 4.8 now.
Wasn't that high? I thought it was in the threes. Let's see.
I mean, at the low. I love how you guys always say, "What was his lowest? What was his highest?"
Well, his highest was like 9.2 or something insane.
Right.
I did already.
You guys always say, "What was it?"
I did. Remember. I'm just going to trust the chat. It was much lower. You remember when I explained why that happened 2 minutes ago? Why did that happen?
Because of COVID.
Okay, specifically, now there's this thing where viruses don't actually like have much control over, like, there's no direct control. Like, it's not like somebody getting sick like makes the inflation rate go up. Why did the inflation rate go up because of COVID? Like, what was the causal link?
Was Trump president under COVID?
I'm sorry, I asked a question. I want to make sure that you understand what you're talking about.
Believe me, I understand what I'm talking about.
Okay, so then why did the inflation rate, why was the inflation rate so high? Why was Biden tasked with lowering this very high inflation rate? I gave a broad explanation of it. Show that you were either listening or that you have background understanding about this thing you're very upset about, and tell me again, why was that inflation rate so high?
Why do you say that I'm upset? Does it sound like I'm upset?
When I say, I don't mean emotionally upset, I mean you're concerned. You're mad. You don't like that the inflation rate was so high. I agree, that was real bad. Why did it happen? Why was the inflation rate so high?
Because of COVID.
Right. But like, how is it that a pandemic causes a high inflation rate? I want to make sure that you understand why that is.
The shutdowns and businesses weren't working. And I mean, there's many reasons why it happens.
Actually, that has a deflationary effect. And if we look at the very beginning of COVID, we'll see that inflation went almost down to zero because people had like no money to spend and businesses weren't opening. So that particular short-term effect of a pandemic lowers the inflation rate. You're wrong about that. And that is shown in the record of what happened when the pandemic started. So I don't think you actually understand why the inflation rate was so high, even though, cheat sheet, I explained it to you less than 5 minutes ago.
Okay, so I didn't understand then. Explain it to me again.
Okay, there's a bunch of reasons. I'll just list a handful of the big ones, but it's things like this. One of the things that the chat is mentioning is global supply chains. I didn't mention that, but because the global supply chains were a little fucked up by people not being able to travel and people being concerned about shipping and stuff like that, even though fuel prices were really low, because that normally helps inflation, that's just because there was so little demand for fuel. The global supply chain being fucked up made shipping goods expensive, and that was a problem. But specifically in a domestic sense, there were certain things that both Trump at the end of his first term and Biden at the beginning of his only term did, like send stimulus checks. Remember, we all got checks in the mail to make sure we could pay our rent and buy our groceries. And if those checks didn't make sure that you could buy your groceries or pay your rent, that means that you're privileged, because that's what it meant for a great many Americans. And when you send money like that, when you just send money to Americans without any other policy around it, without any give and take, it's only give, that directly causes inflation. Very directly. We knew that. We said, okay, we're gonna eat some inflation down the road, but we're gonna do this because people need it right now to survive, and then we can deal with the inflation later. And then I went on this long explanation of how Biden worked very hard and effectively at dealing with that inflation. So those are a few examples. There's a number of things like that, like maybe half a dozen big contributors that led to that inflation rate being so high. But it has to do broadly with the fact that when the house is on fire, you might not be so worried about flooding it if you're spraying your garden hose at it, right? You might deal with the water damage after the fire's out. Does that analogy make sense to you?
Yes, it does.
Okay, so the inflation is the flood damage, and Biden spent his term dealing with the flood damage, dealing with the inflation, which is why it was so low at the end of his term, which is why it's so concerning now that it's so high because of Trump, because it was anomalously high during COVID.
It's literally gone up 0.5.
That's a fucking emergency if it's caused by anything other than a pandemic.
No, it's not.
Yes, it is. It's gone up more than that, by the way. It's gone up, and it's projected to go up more than 1% by the end of the year. So, like, no, you're wrong factually about that. You're minimizing that, even though you're maximizing the problem that Biden did. No, I'm not. I'm just saying what the numbers accurately are. Do we need to do?
You also said that the terrorists are going to destroy our economy. Did you not?
What?
Liberals said that the terrorists and Trump were going to destroy the economy.
I have no idea what you're talking about, but I am talking about this specific inflation graph, where right here is this really high part where we were talking about 9.1 at a very peak, and then let's find January of 2025, 3% when Trump started his term, and the most recent data is 4.2%, and I'm also just very concerned about how aggressively it's going up. See how aggressively it's going up? It was going up that aggressively here for these giant international reasons that were like largely out of our control, unless we wanted people to starve and be homeless.
What do you think the reason why it went up right now to 4?
Mostly the war in Iran.
Exactly. So by ending the war in Iran, do you agree that it probably go back down?
Well, he tried to end the war in Iran last week by giving them $300 billion. That didn't work, and the war continues. And he also started the war. There's also tariffs contributing to this. What am I being dishonest about?
Show me exactly where he said he's giving them $300 billion.
In the what's the document called? The document of understanding or whatever. Do I need to pull up the document? If you're gonna, I'm sorry. Here's what's gonna happen next on the show. Here's what's gonna happen next on the show. The Gulf states, but the agreement.
Gulf states.
Who is
Does that mean that the U.S.
MOU? Thank you, chat. Okay, I didn't say that the U.S. gave it to him. I said that Trump negotiated for them to have.
That's not what you said. You said that we were giving him $300 billion.
Forgive me if I spoke unclearly. I recognize that it's not coming from the taxpayer. There were a couple of days where I was confused about that. I was wrong about that. I was very mad about it coming from the taxpayers, but I was wrong. That's been corrected. That's been corrected in the descriptions of my VODs because the conversations where I'm wrong still get posted. The show gets posted every day, regardless of how well it goes for me. Specifically, I am pointing out that I'm not impressed that he granted them $300 billion, regardless of where it came from, especially in consideration if we're going to play this what the left says, what the right says game, which is what you're doing with me. The right says that it was terrible for Obama to grant them, even though it wasn't from the taxpayer, $1.7 billion 10 years ago in order to stop them from building nuclear weapons. That's absurd as a complaint, given that you're sitting here defending the fact that he gave them $300 billion, especially when that didn't even work, because the Strait is closed again, and we're currently doing strikes on their bases again because they bombed one of the ships.
They attacked the ship.
Yes. So the point is, the war continues. It is a war he started. It's causing this inflation. Explain yourself.
Okay. Again, we weren't talking about why the war started. We're talking about why the inflation went up.
We're talking about why the inflation goes up because of the war that Trump started. It's relevant that he started the war because we're having an entire conversation about assessing Donald Trump's performance versus Biden's when it comes to inflation.
If the war ends, would you agree that the inflation will go down?
If I set your house on fire, are you going to thank me when I put it out?
That's not the question. Answer the question.
It's an analogy that demonstrates that your question is fucking stupid.
Really? But it's okay to say that inflation went up because of the war, but if the war ends and inflation goes back down, then that's not a good analogy.
It's a good analogy for me to say that the temperature inside your house went up because I set it on fire. And you shouldn't really be all that thankful if I put it out, because you should say, somebody arrest this fucking crazy person. He set my house on fire.
Again, what is it? You're saying that the reason inflation went up is because of the war, correct?
I'm sorry. Do you recognize my house on fire analogy? I want to make sure you understand it. What is the fire?
Yes, I understand.
What is the fire?
It's inflation.
Yeah, the fires could be the inflation, the war, the bad thing, right? Okay, what's the house?
Bro, I'm not 3 years old. I understand.
Demonstrate it by showing you understand the analogy. If you're not 3 years old, we could already be. No, that was just one part of it. We could already be through this if you weren't 3 years old. But I think maybe you are 3 years old. Do we need to get some baby bottles in the chat for Steve? He's a little insecure about us thinking how old he is.
You're totally deflecting the question I asked you.
I'm sorry. I think that your question was a deflection away from my line of questioning that you're behaving like a 3-year-old about.
Like, you literally said the inflation was caused by the war, correct?
Not solely, but yeah, the
majority of the reason.
This recent uptick that has happened in the last 4 months, yes, mostly caused by the war, because it has increased global fuel prices, and global fuel prices are really bad for. Yes. What does that? Yes, of course.
Okay, so then what would be your point?
Trump caused the inflation rate to be higher than it should be for a period of time because he went to war.
Go back down, correct?
You understand that doesn't make the prices go back down, right? You understand that the inflation rate is a derivative value of prices.
Do you do your own grocery shopping?
Hold on, I asked a very specific question. Do you understand that if the inflation rate goes lower than it has been recently, that does not cause prices to go back down? Yes or no? Do you understand that?
Yes, I understand that.
Okay, so if the inflation rate is too high, 4 or 5%, something like that, for like half a year, the prices go up. And then if the inflation rate goes back to a healthy level, like 2%, the prices stay that high and we stay fucked by them. And I will stay angry about them. What is your point?
Oh, so wait a minute. So by what your point is when it went up to 9% under Biden and the prices went up.
The difference is that there was a good reason for that. No, I'm not going to let you finish that. I know where you're going. The audience knows where you're going, and nobody's impressed. The specific argument here is that there was a good reason for it going up. I would like to point out that part of the reason that it went up under Biden is because of things that Trump had done. He is the first president who sent the pandemic stimulus checks that caused.
His fault before, it's his fault.
It's not his fault. It's nobody's fault. It's not. I'm not saying it's his fault. That's a straw man. I'm saying that Biden and Trump worked together to increase that inflation rate to protect the American people from the effects of the pandemic. Good job, Biden and Trump. Good job, Operation Warp Speed. Operation Warp Speed cost money. You know, like, these are good things. We did that. That's great. There is no
lower prices, is what you're saying.
What?
So it's impossible for Trump to lower prices. Is that what you're saying?
That's not what I said. No, that's an oversimplification. It is possible for prices to go down, as they did on certain things during the beginning of the pandemic for reasons I explained earlier. My point is that the inflation rate went up earlier for a reason that isn't directly somebody's fault. We can't look at the inflation rate at the beginning of Biden's term and say, who did this to make this happen? First of all, it was split between him and Trump. So if you're mad about it, then you should also be mad at Trump. I'm not mad at either of them because it was worth it. It was worth it to have that high inflation rate because it saved people from starving. It saved kids from going hungry. It saved people from becoming homeless. Like, he ran. That guy knew he was out of his depth. None of his shit was working on me today. If you enjoyed the conversations, go to the link tree in my bio and follow me on the platforms. Helps out for free if you want to support the show in a way that materially pays the employees who now work for this show, because there are employees who work for the show. Fucking W team. Also W mods. Not going to forget the rest of the mods. Love you guys. But yeah, if you want to support the enterprise that now is the Oskar Quentin show, link tree in the bio, Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, or Patreon. Let's double check and see if anybody else did that while I was talking to see if somebody did. Carter sent me $3 just to say, as a Republican, not MAGA, I love the show and thank you for trying to have conversations. It's important. Yeah, these kind of rude generalizations. I use MAGA because it's an abbreviation that in my brain just means Trump supporters. Like, I try not to say that type of shit about conservatives generally, even though I disagree with conservatives generally. I try not to say that stuff about Republicans generally in an American context of the last 30 years, because it's not as specific. MAGA's a fucking cult, though. Steve's in a cult, man. And we're putting that on display by how fucking unreasonable you have to be in order to try to defend this stuff. Caroline over on YouTube Super Chat sent me $10 to say, just found you today. You're awesome. You're awesome, Caroline. Thank you very much. And I'm very impressed that in such a short time I've convinced you that my show is worth $10 to you. Thank you so much. Sci Mom, Sci like science, sent me $20 on Venmo, or not Venmo, YouTube Super Chat to say, hi, Oskar. I would like to send you some sourced information about Trump's role in the pandemic for your debate toolbox. Should I do so to your Instagram? Yes. If you're not on the Discord, Instagram's the place. That's my actual, personal social media account. And the spam is getting out of hand on this account. Oskar Quentin on TikTok becoming a less and less effective way to get in touch with me, because I have hundreds of just spam, people trying to grift their way into swimming behind my wake nonsense. I try to sift through it and get to the fan mail and get to the legitimate offers, but it is getting completely the fuck out of hand over on Oskar Quentin. So message me on Instagram. That shows that you actually listen to the show, because the show is not hosted on Instagram, just the clips. So if you know that that's the place to message me, you might actually be a listener instead of somebody who's just seeing the clips and wanting me to suffer. But that's a lot of the people. All right, I think that's all the donations. Thunder thinks that's a way to waste $10. Get in the queue, buddy. Tell me why. But for now, we're going to talk to Nurse Elliot. Do we have a nurse who's a Trump supporter? That would make me very sad. We shall see. I think Nurse Elliot's going to have a hard time connecting. I think maybe they're teacupped. Maybe they didn't realize they hit the button. I'm going to disconnect them. We're going to move on. We're going to talk to the Maquis 2.0. MAQUIS 2.0. We shall see. MAGA nurses are more common than I'd think, says Moo's mother in the chat. How heartbreaking. How old are you?
I'm 47.
47. Are you a Trump supporter?
Hell no.
Ooh, just looking for Trump supporters for this chunk of the show. We do friendly time towards the end. Sometimes I let people get a message in real quick, but people struggle with the 10 seconds. I say you get 10 seconds and then I'm going to kick you. And then I sit here and cringe while they talk for 30 seconds. And it's like, sorry, but I got to run the show in a very fast-paced, no dead air kind of way. So if I give you 10 seconds, fucking 10 seconds. Anyway, I didn't even give that guy 10 seconds. Then maybe I should have. We're going to talk to Roman. How old are you?
Can you buy me GTA 6? Can you buy me GTA 6?
We're going to talk to ParadoxOfTollerence, which is actually a concept that I kind of subscribe to. But I don't know which side we're on today. ParadoxOfTollerence. How old are you?
50.
50. Are you a Trump supporter?
Absolutely not. Just real quick. I just want to...
10 seconds.
Okay. You are using the word conservative when referring to Republicans. They are regressives. The case can be made that the Democrats are now the conservatives, and they are actively fighting the progressives within their own party. So
You know what? I agree. I actually think that's fair. I think the conservatives are regressives. The establishment Democrats are conservatives. They want to conserve the current status quo of values. And then it's people like me on the far left of that, or completely farther left than that, some people are. It was not way longer than 10 seconds. I gave him 2 extra seconds. I have a clock right here. I was watching it. He did pretty good with his 10 seconds. And I do actually largely agree with what he said, which is why I'm going to have some interesting questions for Doug Chapin, because he's an establishment Democrat who's trying to win a district that is historically won by conservatives, or even if they are in name only. But yeah, I actually agree with the meat of that message, because I get accused all the time of loving Democrats. If you're a longtime watcher of the show, if you've seen one episode, you probably know. Not so much. I'm actually liberal. I'm actually liberal, which according to that guy doesn't make me a Democrat. It makes me something more progressive than a Democrat. I think I agree with that. Remove kebab, LOL, one word. New username, new caller, new conversation, new topic. Dude, what the fuck? What is this? Is this a meme? What does this have to do? Is GTA 6 coming out? I don't pay attention to this shit. I'm a PC gamer, so I'm just gonna wait for years for it to come out on PC, and that'll be that. Otsana Mama on YouTube for $10 says, Oskar, congratulations on the recent success and growth. I look forward to following your journey. You're awesome. You're awesome, Otsana. Thank you so much for the $10. Yeah, it's a big fucking deal. I can talk about it for a moment because nobody's in the queue. So get double tapping away on the screen. If you're on TikTok, I only ask you to double tap on the screen if there's nobody in the queue. So let's make sure that we get some fresh callers. But yeah, it's a big deal. Dean Withers has decided to platform me, so I spent an hour on his show, and he's hopped on this show briefly just to say hi. That's a big deal to me. It's people are taking me seriously. And when I say people are taking me seriously, I mean politicians are taking me seriously, because I think that I genuinely believe that my perspective on politics is kind of refreshing. I think that there's pitfalls to be fallen into all along the political spectrum, and if I'm good at anything, it's avoiding falling into those pitfalls. And I think that I do that navigating this boundary between the far left, where people kind of want government collapse or a civil war or communism or some of these really extreme ideas, and then what the previous friendly caller was saying about how progressive Democrats are kind of a rare breed among what he called conservative Democrats, which I think I haven't heard that quip before, but it's kind of a compelling one to me. And I think I navigate that territory at the left end of the spectrum in a way that's a little bit unique to me, I feel. And I think that that's the result not of me brainwashing myself with partisan content that I've been taking in, because I didn't really start taking in online political content until this current Trump administration. I kind of was just a regular read the news guys. But to speak a little bit about my qualifications that my regular viewers know, because I know these days I have a lot of new viewers watching all the time, I will say I'm a professional educator. I quit my job as a high school teacher to run this show full time, and I've had all sorts of different childcare jobs, and I taught taught programming to kids for a while. I taught public speaking for a bunch of years, which is why I have the, like, you know, reasonably good articulation skills, I might argue. So there's a bunch of stuff that's made me good at this. I'm getting asked in the chat what I taught. I taught everything. I was a substitute. I was a very busy substitute. Alexandra just became a member on YouTube. Thank you so much. Members only stream Sunday evening if you want to just chit chat while I sip apple juice out of my coffee mug. Definitely not apple juice, but you know, gotta please the TikTok gods. When I was in college, I tutored a bunch of different subjects. Like, one of the things that's made me so retentive of the things that I've learned is that I've always had some kind of role in regurgitating that information to other people, teaching it to other people, and that just makes you better at it. If you want to learn algebra and stay learned on algebra, you should teach somebody algebra. That'll help out. Roman, is this a different Roman? Who was Roman? Was Roman a problem? Mods, was Roman a problem? I don't know. I've got a 10, what is that, euros? Navex for 10 euros. I guess maybe YouTube Super Chat's the way to go for international people, but YouTube takes a cut. Maybe that's not what I should say. I should figure something out. But Navex says for 10 pounds, or not pounds, euros, I think that is. Hey, Oskar, greetings from Europe. I think you're doing important and amazing work. Could literally not speak highly enough of you. Would like to hop on sometime to talk about some stuff, if that's okay. Yeah, we do friendly time. Like, the rules get kind of loose on what the callers are at the towards the end of the show, like around about the last half hour, 11:30 to 12 Central Time here in the Midwest. Not always. Sometimes, like, if I have a call that starts at 11:30 where, like, I'm really going and it's a good debate, or if I see a caller, like a debate call in the queue that I think is going to be really good for the show, it's all very discretionary. But in general, if it's not super difficult to watch the show from time to time and get a moment to come talk to me, especially if you message in the chat like, hey, I'm that European caller, or, you know, guy who sent 10 pounds on, I keep saying pounds, it's euros, right? Sent 10 euros on YouTube, and I'll remember, and we can try to get you in. Just for the first half of the show, it's got to be a little bit faster paced than that, which is why we are going to take the risk on Roman, who has already called in today. I can't remember. I'm not sure. That Crow guy, thank you for the membership on YouTube.
Your Barbara GTA 6.
See, there should be like a much bigger and more obvious block button. Like, why is it like 4 clicks?
Wait, no, please, Barbara GTA 6.
Why? See, and then I block him and it takes like 5 more seconds to actually get him out of the call. Like, there should be a big red block button in the request queue. I should be able to block somebody with 1 click when I see their name in the queue. Why is that? You know, Elliot sent me $5 on Venmo to say, from Nurse Elliot, love your stream. Sorry I accidentally joined while shopping. I'm a nurse specializing in HIV medicine and queer healthcare and would never support that monster. Keep being great. W's in the chat for Elliot on this Pride weekend for giving medical care to people who are otherwise disadvantaged by our society. That's admirable work. That's something we say about Alex Preddy. He offered medical care to people who are otherwise disadvantaged in our society, and it is devastating as a person who cares about this country to refer to veterans as people who are otherwise disadvantaged in this country, because that is unfortunately how I feel about a lot of veterans. And Alex Preddy, you know, he dedicated his life to those people, and then he gave his life for a different group of people. W nurses, I think that's the motto there. Is that it? Are all the Trump supporters at Pride today? Maybe I should get outside. Maybe they're afraid of the baby bottles. Maybe they're afraid of how I handled Steve. Steve's probably banned. I don't think I want to talk to Steve again. When am I going to do in-person debates like Dean, says Big Boy Briss? Good question. I don't know. Do I need to host my own? Do I need to like have an event? I don't know. I will say, as a controversial political commentator, hosting events is a little scary for a reason that I think we all know. But I think the big question is, am I going to get on Jubilee? I need to hit them up. They're doing casting calls, and I think I've got the clout necessary for Jubilee. I do like take some issue with Jubilee's structure. I will just say, I think that having people race to the chair is fucking ableist. Like, come on. It's a foot race. We're gonna have a foot race to get to the microphone. Fucking come on, Jubilee. Like, be better. It's like visually fun, you know. Like that's a fun game if you have a bunch of young, able-bodied people. But like, I play capture the flag with my buddies in the woods. Like, I can get behind it, but like, for funsies. But for, to get to the table with Dean Withers or whoever is sitting there, it just seems like such a disingenuous way to start the show, because it's how they start every conversation, is race to that fucking chair. I don't know how I'd prefer it. I don't know. We could sit and brainstorm. We could sit and think tank a better way. But if I was in the boardroom, if I was in the conference room when that was being pitched, I'd say, no, that's fucking ableist. We can't do that. And maybe when Oskar Quentin media is a thing, that's the sort of shit I'll be able to say. Maybe I'll be able to say, no, that's a disingenuous way to run this show. We need to be entertaining. We need to get clicks. We need to get the voice out there. But we can't do that because it violates our fucking mission statement, which will include to not be fucking ableist. So, am I from Minnesota? Says Heelf Bars. Yeah, no, I'm from New York. I do live in Minnesota, though. I've lived in the metro area for 10 years, and I live in Minneapolis currently. Buttons like Family Feud could be Pick Sticks. Yeah, I mean, they could I think if we just want to be fair, you could say raise your hand if or press your button if you want to talk on this prompt, because not everybody tries to get to the chair, and then you could just randomize it among the 3 to 5 people who really want to do it, and that would just be more fair. But look at me, silly liberal, caring about fairness. How's the audio on YouTube? I made some changes. I added some gain and compression to my microphone on YouTube. Let me know if my speaking level is better better leveled. Little tech question while we're in this lull of the show where I have scared away all of the chuds because they're so insecure. These insecure chuds, they don't want to talk to Oskar. Yeah, actually the audio is even now. Hell yeah. Thank you, Jen, for noting me. Yeah, well, because TikTok handles balancing and compression and stuff downstream of me, so I don't see it. So when I was just doing the show on TikTok, I had to do all that in post. I've been doing it on post on OBS, but I've realized recently it's not doing it for me, which is why the audio is shitty on YouTube. I think I fixed it, though, which means maybe now I don't have to do it in post. I don't know. Raven, if you're listening, that 24 decibel compression filter that we put on the OBS audio, going to be something different. Enough tech chat. Get double tapping away on the screen. We got 600 people watching on TikTok, and we got 170 on YouTube. If you're a Trump supporter on YouTube, hop over to TikTok and call me. If you're a Trump supporter on TikTok, what are you doing? Stand on your beliefs. Defend your honor. Show us that you are not insecure by getting up in front of, this reasonably large number of people and telling us what it's about, Again, it's Pride Day. They're all surfing Grindr. Do the Republicans actually crash Grindr when they have events? Because if that's the truth, that's very funny. And I want to make perfectly clear, it's not that they're gay that's funny to me. It's that they're insecure that's funny. If they're gay and insecure about it, that's very funny to me. Let the Wookiee in says, I don't mute, maybe mention that. Well, I guess maybe we need to do a PSA because people see the really high energy clips where I'm losing my mind on people. People see sassy, spicy Oskar who's upset about, I don't know, somebody threatening my life or saying they're going to come murder my pets or something like that. But in general, I match energy on this show, and I have had a lot of productive conversations that started with a person saying, hey, I really don't want you to jump down my throat. I really don't want you to attack me. And I'm like, great, don't give me a reason. That's fine. We can do that. I can calmly say, hey, that's nonsense. I think you're wrong about that. If that's the tone of the conversation, I prefer for that to be the tone of the conversation. It's more productive. It leads to maybe not better performing clips, but it leads to clips that I'm much happier with. It leads to clips where I'm like, wow, what a fucking moment. When people say, holy cow, this gives me hope in my comment section, it's not because I'm talking to some person who can't add two numbers together. It's usually when I'm breaking through to somebody who's been drinking the Kool-Aid. And those are often very chill conversations, very chill, calm, hey, I think that's kind of silly that you think that. Who told you that? And then, that sort of polite pushback instead of that's fucking dumb. Why do you fucking believe that, you idiot? I just don't start with that, Ruben sent me $3 on Venmo to say, been loving your show. Would love to see you co-host with Parker. Parker follows me. Is Parker watching? I don't know. I'd love to co-host on Parker. I was watching Parker for like 2 hours last night while I was sitting here playing piano. I just had the phone sitting on the piano, and I did the thing where like I was like tapping away on the screen. I do believe in supporting up. Does Parker need my taps? Yes, because the biggest people in the community should still get phone taps from all of us, because it makes the debate sphere bigger for people like Dean and Parker to be more and more successful. So like, yeah, do support them. I'm actually even if I'd prefer you support me, like do support them. So I was sitting there double tapping away, and I realized like an hour and a half in that it didn't say request, it said cancel request, and I was like, whoop, how long have I been sitting in Parker's queue? So I left, but I thought to myself like, oh my god, there was a halfway decent chance of me accidentally like being the asshole that bombs his stream by playing music, by sitting here playing piano, having music come through the mic the moment I connect. That would be embarrassing, because I haven't met Parker. He's watched the show before, and he follows me, but I haven't been in a call with him, and I haven't seen he doesn't like comment or anything. But I would love to. There's tons of people I would love to co-host with. But co-hosting with Dean was super fun. I had stage fright. There were usernames I recognized from my own chat in Dean's chat going, ooh, Oskar has stage fright. And it's like 20,000 people were watching. Next time I'll be less. I got warmed up. I got in the zone. I got to cooking. I got that clip out of it. That clip got 1 million views. No, that clip hasn't gotten 1 million views yet, has it? I can't remember. It was a good time on Dean's show. But yeah, I do really appreciate Parker. Everybody wants the Oskar Dean piano battle. I think I will lose. I'm good at playing the piano, like to somebody who doesn't know how to play the piano, but I think that Dean is classically trained, which I'm a little bit classically trained in the sense that I'm very careful about how I teach myself music, and that I do like learn the appropriate things. But I've seen him play. I think he has like a more diverse set of properly trained technical skills. I think the guy would play circles around me. But it's not a competition music, you know. It would be fuck a competition. A jam sesh would be more fun. But he lives in Colorado, so that's not going to happen. We want you on Pickles. I'm on Pickles sometimes. Pickles and I are actually buddies, so that just happens sometimes. If you want to see me on Pickles, follow me, and you will. Emily says, for $10, 2 questions. Have you seen the Necessary Conversation podcast? And if so, would you be interested in going on to have a chat with Mary Lou? Love the show. I've heard of it. Perhaps I've seen it or heard snippets of it, but no, I'm not a regular watcher. But if that's an opportunity, I'll absolutely check it out. Feel free to message me anywhere, but especially on Instagram is a good way to get in touch with me. Because I don't know if you're a person connected or just a fan or what, but I'm in a place right now where I feel like we're like entering friendly time, an hour into the show, which is fine. We've already had a high energy show. We can just sit and talk to the chat for a moment, because we don't have a caller. As soon as we get a caller, we'll get in there. Running this show by myself was really grueling, and I did that for like 2 or 3 months while I was working full time to pay my bills, which means I wasn't sleeping or seeing my friends. Did that, it was worth it. And then it became enough to support me, and it's been about a month and a half of that, and now it's gotten a little bigger than that, and now I'm in this place where, because I'm offloading the responsibilities of running the show, getting the VODs edited, doing the clips and stuff like that to other people, now I get to spend more time going on other people's shows. That's the big change, is that I can go surf the lives. So you guys will probably notice I'm popping into all sorts of random lives, so follow me, hit the red circle, see who I'm talking to. I'm just trolling around looking for friendly and unfriendly conversations of all kinds. I'm trying to network in the scene a little bit, so I'd absolutely be interested in talking to the Necessary Conversation people. Trying to broaden my reach in that way, because now I have time to. Caller, I was just about to click the caller. I said I'll drop this as soon as I have a caller, and then as soon as I said that, somebody popped up, and I thought, fuck, I'll finish my point, and then I'll click on their name. And well, okay, yeah. So Raven is saying that I just chill while I sit there and work hard. To be fair, I have done some stream trolling while you're there. I'm also still paying attention to your work because you're still in training, Raven. Cat fighting among the staff. QWERTY's back. We're gonna talk to QWERTY. Request canceled. QWERTY, what's going on? Come back. Come on. What the hell? Is Michael unmuted here? QWERTY, okay, third time's no, stop it. You're gonna get banned if you keep hopping in and out of the chat. Is it wait, no, maybe he's double tapping on the screen. Michael unmuted, no, you're not here? Gotcha. I'm having trouble getting a caller today, Michael. You can hop up if you want to say hi. I got to meet Michael Unmuted in person the other day, which is exciting. Yeah, I should start complaining. I should say, double tap the screen, share the live. See, QWERTY just followed the live creator. Following the live, if you're not following the live, is actually a really good way to push it out into the For You page, because it tells the algorithm, oh my God, I found this show. I like it so much, I'm going to follow this guy. And then the algorithm goes, oh, we should show this to some other people. MAGA is scared, as they should be. Yeah, Politics with Matt. Is that actually Politics with Matt? That is actually Politics with Matt. Okay, yeah. Yeah, very lame Politics with Matt, whatever. Fuck you. Love you. W's in the chat for Politics with Matt. Is this a friendly stream? What is this? It's Saturday. I guess we scared away all the kids who were coming to troll, and we scared away the insecure baby bottle requiring chuds. And my Venmo balance has gone up, so I need to thank Andy for the $50 fucking dollars. Holy shit. Keep doing what you're doing. That's like... Yeah, that's going to the staff. That one's not even for me. He says, keep doing what I'm doing. No, I'm not going to keep doing what I'm doing. I'm going to keep doing half of what I'm doing. I'm going to give the other half to my staff so I can do more of what I'm doing. Thank you very much. W's in the chat for Andy. I do really appreciate it. How you doing, Matt?
Hey, man, what's going on?
Trying to get a caller. It's not going very well today. Scared them all away.
Yeah, well, that just seemed to be kind of like how it's been going lately. Do you dual stream? Are you on the tube?
I am on YouTube.
Oh, okay. Do you do call-ins also, or do you just take TikTok guests?
So I'm about to do like a reconfiguration of this like music setup that I'm sitting in, and I'm going to set it up so that I have like a separate mixing channel for in desktop audio so that I can take phone number calls. I'm working on broadening it in that way, because as I know other people have. But my big concern, maybe you can answer, how do you not immediately get your account taken down for somebody calling in and slurring? Because I see it happen. Like it happens to Pickles, where somebody says something bad and he goes, hey, hung up on him. That came through my channel. Sorry, TikTok, don't ban me. How are you guys not getting banned for that? Like, that is terrifying to me.
Well, it's just like anything. It's like a risk that you take, with a guest, obviously. I think there's what I've done. I'll tell you what I've done. Is I had a book that I've been pushing to all of my followers because I really like the book, which is People's History of the United States. I don't know if you've read it. It's one of my all-time favorite books.
I've not, but it's on my list because you suggested it to me.
Oh, okay. Well, cool. That's good. But it's just only because I think it's a great resource for a lot of people who don't know. There's a lot of American history that like people don't know, right? So, anyways, neither here nor there. But what I kind of figured out was having that in my showcase on like once you can, when you can have a showcase, you can, because I think you have over 10,000 followers, but you can have that in your showcase, and then every single time that something like that happens and I drop them, I just go, hey, have you guys gone to my showcase and checked out the TikTok shop? Because you can get a copy of People's History of the United States by Howard Zinn, and have you checked it out, and blah, blah, blah. And pretty much everybody on my stream, they all just kind of know, like, that's exactly what's going to happen. And everyone's like, yeah, we do love the TikTok shop. And I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm shooting myself in the foot right now or jinxing myself, but I'll be damned if that doesn't seem to mitigate the damage. I don't know.
Well, there's like these like reasonably superstitious things that we do because, if TikTok told us here are the rules, people would figure out how to get around them. That's why the TOSs are always opaque, which makes sense. But we all just exist in this arms race of trying to figure out how to behave. Just yesterday, I was talking to somebody who I hired to help run the show about the file names for the videos that we send in as clips to TikTok to subtitle. And I said, well, let's keep the titles PG because we don't want to like put some dumb, horrible curse or controversial topic in this file name, even though the file name only exists to remind us in-house which clip this is, never gets shown to the public, but it gets uploaded to TikTok, so the algorithm reads it. And I thought, let's be superstitious and kind to the algorithm in these file names. And it's that sort of thing that we have to sit around and consider. It's like advertising. The advertisers say half of the money that's spent on advertising is wasted. If only we knew which half. And that's a little little bit like, for all the effort we go to please the TikTok shop, to please the algorithm, if only we knew the half of it that was nonsense that didn't accomplish anything, but we simply don't because of the nature of the problem. So we're left wondering.
No, I know exactly what you mean. I just basically that's about it. The only other thing that I've thought about doing, and this would require a real reworking of my setup, which I have considered doing, which is having the audio for guests routed through a secondary account to come in through a secondary account, so that if they slur, then maybe it only gets hit. Then maybe only that account gets a, so they get a violation. So the worst thing that could happen would be that account gets a violation. But even then, I think the live could still happen there. Oh, what's that?
This is what you need to do that, because the issue with that is that you can't join unless it's through a phone. So you can plug this into a newer iPhone. It's a USB-C to USB-A adapter. And this little guy is just a sound card where it has a microphone port and a headphone port. iOS natively supports this. You can just I can plug this into my iPhone, and I can plug in an audio source and an audio out. And because I have a music setup, I can treat that as an input and an output. I might do exactly that with this, but the issue is I'd have to do it through my primary phone, because my burner phone is an old piece of shit that doesn't support this. So I'm thinking about it. I want to do it catastrophically and right. Buy it nice or buy it twice, but with labor. I want to get a very, very clean audio setup. That lately I've just kind of been, rat's nesting everything together every day. But if I can get something like permanent setup that like works perfectly, I will write the manual and distribute it to everybody else, because I know everybody deals with that problem. It's a mess.
Well, I do have to say, if there was one thing that I feel like I was a little bit proud of myself, which was I figured out the Google Voice issue that a lot of us were having, which was, you can't have a Google Voice caller interact with somebody on your panel, right? So previously it was only basically people were taking Google Voice, but if you had anybody else up with you, there was no chance of them interacting. So if you wanted to bring someone else up, if you were talking to somebody or whatever, and I was like, oh, I know a lot about blah, 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 let me come up. And I couldn't interact, right? But I was able to figure that out because that I co-host pretty regularly with Nemo and with Erica, with British Erica, and then obviously some of our other friends too. And I've been watching. I really wanted to be able to do that. Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. That is the issue, and because fundamentally what it is that when you have two different means of handling calls, one in application through TikTok Live, and then one out of application through a third-party app like Google Voice, is that you have a bunch of different mixes that you need. What am I hearing? What's the caller on Google Voice hearing? And what is TikTok hearing? And suddenly that becomes three mixes where each of them has certain channels turned on and off. So as a musician, there's complicated professional ways of handling this, and I have the hardware for that. But I am trying to find something that's a little more native to Windows so I can spread the advice around. Because, you need three separate mixes for it to work.
I have a solution for you. So I'm a Mac guy, but I have a Windows solution for you. So if you'd like that, it's good.
Let's do it offline, because the chat has begun to complain about our technical conversation, and I do have somebody in the queue, so I should be a professional and let you go, even though I'm enjoying the chat.
That's fine. But we'll have to chat some other time about other things that you might be potentially interested in.
Let's blow this up so everybody can see it. There we go. Yeah. That looks all very interesting to me. We should message me. We'll chat.
We'll just chat some other time. Hit me up on Discord. Anyways, let me go. Talk to your op. Catch you later.
W's in the chat for Matt for popping by and having a dorky conversation with me. This is the Oskar Quentin Show. I say at the beginning, we talk about politics and related matters. Related matters can mean anything, because the show's about me, and I felt like talking about tech shit with Matt for a minute. While waiting for Wumbo to show up, we're going to see if Wumbo is going to be a progressive call, and I'm going to remind everybody to get double tapping away on the screen to get the viewership back, because not everybody's into tech chat. Wumbo, how old are you?
Hi there. I am 30.
30. Are you a Trump supporter?
I am not. I was hoping it was friendly hour.
Oh, we're having a weird one. I'll give you 10 seconds to make your case for staying on the line, but I might hang up with you after 10 seconds.
I'll try to do it in 10 seconds.
15 seconds, go.
15 would be great. All right, I'm in a situation, I'm a homeowner, very fortunate to own my home. I'm in a situation where I want to move, I want to sell it, and I'm split between selling it and losing out on money in an investment and keeping it as a rental. I have a little bit of moral quandaries with being a landlord, and I wanted to get your opinion on that. What do you think about landlords?
That's a hot enough issue that I'll take it. Yeah, I think it's very fucking hard to be a landlord in a way that is ethical at all right now. I think that's one of the areas where we could have a situation where if there wasn't such a housing crisis, it wouldn't be so dirty to make your buck on that. But because we have such a housing crisis, it is a huge thing to ask of a person like yourself, where it's like, it's probably what, like a 5-digit number you'd lose out on by making the other decision, the non-financially sensible decision, just sell now because that's better for the housing market, the more ethical thing to do. I don't know. That's complicated. How do you feel about what I've said so far?
Am I still on? I get more than 10 seconds? All right,
Yeah, you convinced me you get more than 10 seconds.
Yeah, no, I completely agree with you. I'm split. I've only owned the house for like 2 years, so like investment-wise, I would lose money, but I do completely agree with you. I think it's very hard to be an ethical landlord. I understand the other side of the argument. You're providing a service for people who don't necessarily want to deal with maintenance themselves. But if everyone has this mentality where they want to own properties that they don't live at, I think you're really just destroying the American public's dream of owning a home. And I just don't think housing should be a business. I think it should be a right, and I just don't want to be that type of person, keeping something off the market. For all I know, a family could own this home, It's like,
well, see, that's the thing. If the question is between selling it, hoping that somebody, you as the seller could make the good faith assessment of your buyer and say, I'm only going to sell this home to somebody who convinces me they're going to live in it themselves. Maybe they're lying to you. Maybe they brought their baby to pretend they're going to raise the baby in the house, but actually they're just going to be shitty landlords and rent it to somebody. Who knows? But you have the freedom to make that assessment yourself. It doesn't sound to me like I need to do much convincing to you of the fact that unless you do what you think is the right thing, you're going to have a hard time sleeping at night, because you just made it sound to me like you're going to have a hard time sleeping at night if you do anything but contribute to fixing the housing crisis by selling that home to somebody who's going to live in it.
Yeah, absolutely. I just wanted to get your opinion. I've been watching the show a couple months now, and there's some topics that you cover over and over, like abortion and violations of the Constitution. But I'd just love to hear your opinions on other things, and I think that the world kind of wants to see it too.
I appreciate that. Well, one of the things that's exciting about, I've been talking a lot this week because it's the news for the show this week, is that I'm offloading a lot of work to some employees so that I can broaden things. I'd love to do a non-oppositional show. Like the reason this format works so well is because opposition works so well in the algorithm. It drives engagement. People get mad in the chat. People want to throw their baby bottle emojis in to make the guest feel bad. So it has this Dean Withers effect where it's like, yeah, you can pull 20,000 concurrent because people like watching that conflict. But if I can have a secondary show that isn't as popular for just the people who actually care about the more important things, the boring version of this show that can be drugged behind this show because of this show's natural algorithmic success, that's the sort of project I'm really excited about. And I'm getting big enough for that to make sense. That's why we're doing the Sunday show, 7 p.m. Central on Sundays, which is going to be kind of a variety show. But I want to broaden that. And if there's a conversation about ethical home ownership, it sounds like that'd be the type of place for it. And the reason I'm platforming it now is because I don't have a caller.
I hope you get some opposition callers because, it's always more entertaining that way.
Well, that's just it. It's like, it is more entertaining, but you're right. These other conversations need to happen. And I think that one of the things I'm going to try to leverage my success to accomplish is convincing people who otherwise only pay attention to entertaining content that they should work a little harder to find content that's meaningful. If I can have that influence on my audience, I think I'll be doing a good job as an influencer.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think one thing that you kind of inspired me to do, the other day I was in Barnes & Noble's picking up a book, and right there at the counter they had this little mini pocket-sized version of the Constitution. And I thought, you know what? I'm going to grab a copy of that, make sure that, I myself am not bullshitting when I try to have these arguments that Oskar has with people. And I think that's great. I just think maybe that's something that, more people should have, more people should think about.
W pocket Constitution. I also carry a pocket Constitution, and every now and then at protest events or street fairs, you'll see people handing them out, and it's such a flex to have the Constitution guy accost you and to pull out your Constitution and say, "I'm good," and keep walking. Sometimes I take one. I say, "I'll give it to somebody."
Proofs in the pudding, man. That's awesome.
Yeah. W Wumbo. I see the chat's already beat us to it, but I think I'm going to clear the line to hopefully get a caller.
Yeah, you got it, man. Keep doing your thing.
Yeah, if we end up with a proper friendly show, you're welcome anytime.
Thanks a lot.
W's in the chat for Wumbo. I'm not getting as many insecure guests as I thought I would today. Is it going to be a friendly show? I don't know. If it's a friendly show, it's one that might actually perform pretty well on YouTube, because the in terms of doing the like candid, cold calculation about making sure that the show is successful, if the VOD, the podcast version of the show, what really drives its success is if the show hits the ground running. Even if that means like 10 minutes in when they click the timestamp for the first conversation, if that's an interesting oppositional call, if the first one is an interesting oppositional call, it can kind of drag the viewership along. Somebody who listens to me like totally cook some loser for 20 minutes might listen to the boring technical stuff or the W meaningful conversations or whatever. And that's all, that's good. So I don't mind an episode like this today, especially on Pride Day. Maybe I get to finish the show in a good mood because I've been talking to pleasant people instead of in a bad mood because I've been talking to Trump supporters. We shall see. But I've got some YouTube super chats to read. I think more than one. Rob's wife sent this a little while ago, so sorry for not reading it fast enough. Rob's wife said, "We didn't have left podcasts and debates like this last election cycle. They used this and won. We desperately needed you. Thanks, Oskar." Yeah, I'm sorry. I was busy being younger than I am. Silly me. I think that they were there, but I do agree with you that they're exploding in a way that I think fucking matters. Like, I think Dean Withers is changing political sentiment in America in a measurable way. I don't think I'm big enough yet, but I do think enough people know who he is. Enough people who have seen Dean Withers trap some Trump supporter in a corner. I think enough people are aware that what happens if you have an educated, articulate person talking to a Trump supporter is that they look like a freaking fool. I think that's a big deal, and I think it's one of the reasons it's hard to predict what's going to happen in the midterms. So yeah, I mean, longtime watchers of the show know I handle my show a little bit differently than Dean and Parker do, and I have criticisms of how everybody handles their shows. That's what we are, a bunch of critical, self-indulgent fucks running these shows. But I do think that, like, broadly, the people on the left doing these shows are doing good, and we should celebrate that. That's why I was saying just a moment earlier, you should double tap on the screen for Parker. You should double tap on the screen for Dean. It's not that they need it, they obviously don't. It's that democracy needs this space to continue to grow, and helping the people who are at the very top still accomplishes that. Kronos sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say, off to work, so I'll be in listening mode until the end of the show. But one quick question, who should I ask about getting on the Discord? Oh, Kronos, virtually any of the mods, or message me on Instagram and identify yourself as Kronos, because you might need a screenshot, because I just said that out loud, so maybe people are going to impersonate you. But send a screenshot of your YouTube account to me or any of the mods and you'll get in, because we know you, we trust you. You're a mod on YouTube. You are yourself a mod. Talk to one of the higher level mods. But that's over on the YouTube chat. But I'm sure there's people watching on YouTube. And if Jen is still watching, she can drop I think there's a burner email that's being used for those sorts of applications. Let me go back to the regular chat to see if she's already in there saying that. There's a good chance she is. Yeah. Oh yeah, and he's a member. Of course he's a member. Oh, is he a member or a mod? I don't remember. I added a bunch of mods from the regular viewership today, so forgive me if I mixed that up. But Kathleen says, Dean was the first I found, then Parker, then Santana, then Johnny, and now you. I really like that you put the TikTok chat on the YouTube. Yeah, TikTok chat. You guys are famous. This TikTok chat, it's on screen on YouTube. Lives there forever. I will say, I do not get to watch the chat very much. And I have genuinely, this is very fart sniffy of me, but I have genuinely been enjoying going back to moments that I knew were really hot, high energy in the chat when I'm editing the show or immediately afterwards. And I do like reading the chat like after the fact. Sometimes I have to pause it and like read it because it's too fast for me to read it. You guys are very, very busy. But you guys put some funny shit in the chat when I'm cooking. It's great. Oh God, what is going on today? It is. Hey, look, maybe credit to MAGA. It is a beautiful Saturday. It's Pride Day. Maybe they outside in they short shorts like I am about to be. My shorts aren't that short, but anyway. I don't know. Maybe we're winning. Maybe that's why it's drying up. Or, as I was discussing with Matt, maybe I need to start taking phone calls to capture the other market, because I do have a lot of oppositional calls on, or oppositional like people on like Instagram, for example, where I have like 85,000 followers, and they'll be like, dude, I'd smoke you any day of the week, and I'm like, TikTok 10 to 12, and they're like, no, I don't use TikTok, and I'm like, how convenient. How convenient. Would they call me if I gave them a phone number? We shall find out. So I shall work on I have time to figure out these technological advancements. W staff, W mods, W Discord, W chat, W everybody. We can say everybody because clearly nobody's here to call in and be opposition. W all of us. We're all doing it together, sitting here being pleasant. But it doesn't get very many views sitting here being pleasant. So, YouTube is full of maggots. Is the YouTube chat full of maggots? I haven't been. The YouTube chat is kind of a lovely place. There isn't much opposition over there. There's like one guy who shows up and is like mean sometimes, but that's about it. Play guitar? No, we're gonna talk to Miles. No, we're not gonna talk to Miles. Miles left the chat. Part of the reason I've been procrastinating doing music on the show is because I want to do this overhaul of getting this the music set up here to be set up in the way I was discussing with Matt, where I can have specific mixes for different things, because I want to sound good, and it is I just can't tell. There's no it's not, never mind my performance, like never mind if I'm singing the right notes or whatever, but I just can't tell how loud my voice is next to the guitar, how loud my voice is over the piano, something like that. It's impossible. One of the things I want to do is get this set up so that I can actually send like a live, like what I would consider an appropriate live mix for performing to TikTok and YouTube to be heard. And that's I'm excited for that. I think I'm gonna wait until after I do that to do music on the show again, just because I always want to keep it improving. And maybe it's because I have a lot more viewers now, and I want to make sure I sound good. I want to give myself the best shot to sound good. If I play the wrong notes or I sing the wrong notes, that's okay. But I am fucking tempted to wrap the show early. It's a busy day. I do have Pride plans. I was planning on hitting end specifically at like precisely at 12, just to make sure that I had time to get the episode up. But after I thank Emily, we are going to talk to somebody in the queue. So Emily sent me $25 on Venmo. That's a pretty hefty donation. She said, "I'm a new viewer and love your content and intelligence. Glad I found you." Thank you so much, Emily. That's very kind of you. And W Emily, paying for the show. The show is getting expensive, because it wasn't very expensive when I was the only person working on it. That was the thing. I kept my cost of living super cheap this whole time through, so I could just run the show on dirt. But now I got some people. The show has mouths to feed. So thank you very much, Emily. You're feeding some mouths. Panavo Mini, Pannovo Mini, one word, is our next caller. Hello, how old are you?
So I'm 19. 19,
are you a Trump supporter?
No, but I don't see the problem with ICE.
Oh, well, there's especially because you're a little bit young, and because you, just based on the tone of your voice, you sound super good faith to me. I expect this to be like a really nice conversation. Can I just explain something about the way that I talk about ICE on this show?
Yeah.
There's two reasons that I don't like ICE, but they're completely separate reasons, and I think it's possible that you and I agree on one of them, but not the other. And it's kind of okay that we don't agree on the other. I mean, I could say it's not. I could say I have real problems with it. But I just want to explain clearly that ICE enforces policies that I don't like. I don't like our immigration policies. I think they're bad. I think they're bad for America. I think they're bad for the economy. I think they're obviously bad for the illegal immigrants that are here. I just think it'd be better to do something else. I have other ideas. So there's that, right? Like, I don't like what the laws are. That's one thing. And if I didn't like what the laws were, and it was ICE's job to enforce them, and they were doing a perfectly legal job of doing that, I'd be okay with that. I'd be okay with ICE being an entity that's enforcing some laws that maybe I don't like so much. Like, I recognize that we need law enforcement in this country. If ICE is the government agency whose job it is to enforce immigration policy, I would want them enforcing the policies that I do want. If I got what I wanted and we got the immigration policies that I would prefer, we'd still need ICE to enforce them, or something like ICE. I think maybe do a reboot, because the brand is going to be unpopular after this administration. But I'd be okay with that. I want to make sure that you understand that. Do you get that? If I recognize that it's the policies that I don't like, and that doesn't necessarily make the people whose job it is to enforce them bad people. Can you?
Yeah.
That makes sense to you? Okay.
Which
So I
policy
just
do you not really like?
Well, we can get to that, but I just want to make sure you understand that, like, the reason I don't like ICE has something to do with the fact that it's their job to enforce policies that I don't like, and we'll talk about that in a moment. But that's not their fault. What is their fault is the other reason why I don't like ICE, which is that they enforce those policies in a way that is unconstitutional, illegal, and dangerous for people, for kids, for communities. And even if the policies were good, that could still be the problem, right? Like even if I got to personally write the immigration policies, I could still see ICE doing bad things and say, nope, you guys are breaking the law. You can't do that. And I just want to make sure as we start this conversation that we recognize these are two completely separate considerations.
Okay.
Does that make sense to you?
Yeah, I don't really know the policies too much. I was just...
Well, specifically, these 12 million illegal immigrants, there's about something like that, 12 million. We don't know exactly because they're not documented, many of them. Some of them are documented because they're just people who've overstayed their visas. So they are documented, but they're just not, they don't have legal status. The policy says that we should deport those people. I just don't think that makes very good sense. And so we can start by talking about policy. Never mind the behavior of ICE agents. Let's just talk about the policy because that's what you wanted to jump on first. I don't think it makes sense to deport them. That's my position. Yeah, I don't know who benefits from that.
I feel like we would just be safer with they're not documented. They don't have what do they do?
Well, I offer an alternative where instead of deporting them, we just give them all a big old packet and say, hey, you got 24 months to get your shit in order. Welcome to America. Don't commit any crimes or we'll deport you.
But then I feel like that would make like a system for people to just come in,
Well, separate. That's to deal with the people who are already here. Is that would be giving them amnesty. We'd say you've broken the law in the past. Oskar thinks the law was silly, but a lot of people listen to his podcast, so now we've rewritten the laws in a way that isn't so silly. So because you're already here and you broke that old silly law that we're not enforcing anymore, here's your packet to get up to speed. Separately, we would have to change how we handle the border. We would have to hire more judges and more lawyers and people who handle immigration processing. We'd have to instead of paying for the enforcement, instead of paying for more ICE agents, let's just pay more people to handle the applications of people trying to immigrate, because we're in a situation economically in the country where the economists agree the immigration amount isn't bad. We can have this many people coming into the country. In fact, the birth rate is kind of low for people born here. This is something that happens in prosperous societies. People stop having babies as much, and one of the ways that we can equalize that problem on planet Earth to keep the human population under control and the population in the country under control is through immigration. So we're actually in a spot where we want the immigration. We have a bunch of immigrants who are here. Most of them aren't committing very many crimes. We could just say, hey guys, sorry we have been fucking this up for hundreds of years. Here's the new policy. That's what I think we should do.
Okay.
So the question is then again, who benefits from deporting them?
Yeah, the big companies do. Big corporations, right?
No, the big corporations are dependent on their labor. Those 12 million people will generally work. There are certain industries like the agricultural industry where half or slightly more than half of the low-level, like in the field employees are undocumented immigrants. And big companies, whether they hire those immigrants themselves, benefit from that labor's contribution to our economy. And it would be very disruptive of big companies and individuals like you and me. He left. We're going to talk to Qballconservative. I don't think that's going to be as productive as that conversation could have been if he stayed.
I didn't even get in the room yet, and you put me down. All right.
I was talking. I was just really excited about that conversation being more productive. And I don't know. You called yourself a cue ball. I guess that means bald. I don't know. Forgive what I said about you. I was upset by him leaving. How old are you?
50.
Okay. You support Trump?
I'm one of the biggest union leaders in America, and you're talking about illegal immigrants are an asset to the workforce?
Mm-hmm.
Because they fill up the numbers, they're an asset to the workforce? Is that what you're saying?
No, I think that the first thing I agree with. The second thing was a narrowing of my position, which I consider a mischaracterization of my position. I think you were doing that on purpose, and I consider that disingenuous. Minus 1 point for the guest.
Have you ever worked?
Never worked a day in my life.
Okay, well,
Fucking
in
believe
labor.
me.
In labor, well, you don't look like you couldn't lift lumber. I could tell that. Illegal immigrants destroy the workforce and they destroy.
How tall do you think I am?
6'2".
Oh, pretty close. I'm a little over 6 foot. But yeah, I'm just curious. Want to make sure you had your head on straight about that. I'm sorry. You're in charge of a labor union and you're telling a stranger on the internet that he looks incapable of labor baselessly? What's wrong with you?
No, I did this for a living. I was a foreman.
Actually, hold on. I'm gonna do something I do on my show.
We're gonna play the same game.
No, we're gonna play a new game. I don't play this game very often. This is an interesting game. You came up here and said you're the head of one of the biggest labor unions in the country, and you used that as clout in this conversation. I'm gonna have you stand on it by turning on your camera.
I can't right now.
Then the conversation's over. Leave the call. Come back when you can put your camera on. You said that you're the head of one of the biggest labor unions in the country.
Oh, hold on a second. I could put something up. Hold on.
I don't want something up. I want a live video feed. If you're in a position of power, I'm going to make sure that the things you say on my show are associated with you as that person in a position of power. You're going to stand on business. So, camera on, or you're gone.
You're not important to me. You're nobody.
Okay. Goodbye. What do you think, chat? Do you think he was insecure about the fact that I called his bullshit? Miles is asking in the chat if I take friendly calls. Generally in the last half hour, which starts 6 minutes from now, and we have Paradox-of-Tolerance, who I believe is that friendly caller from earlier. So we're gonna Paradox-of-Tolerance. I'm gonna hang out for these 5 minutes. We're gonna see if we can get a MAGA caller in the next 5 minutes, and if we don't, then I will just open the floor to everybody to come chit chat, because it's Pride Day. We should just be friendly and happy today. Qball is Qball a union in New York City? You know, I'm okay with anonymity for people who are just up here talking about Trump. Like, if you want to, if you start giving me like, oh, I'm in charge of this, I'm in charge of that, I run this company, I'm like, do you? You're going to use that for leverage in an anonymous conversation? Unacceptable. If you're going to leverage who you are in real life for clout in my conversation, you are going to turn your fucking camera on. I think that's a rule from here on out on the Oskar Quentin show. If you tell me you're in charge of something important, camera. Chat, do you think that's a good rule? Let me know. I just think that's sensible, right? Like, that guy was about to say a bunch of shit that would have ended his career. If he was telling the truth about being in charge of a labor union, that guy was about to say a bunch of shit that was going to end his career, is why he ran, and he had nothing when I took away his shield of anonymity. So I accept that not everybody needs to be brave like that. I don't dox people. Do not go dox my callers. Seriously. Do not fucking do that. Not cool. I value the fact that people who maybe are a little concerned, especially if they live in a place, like a lot of people live in a place where they'll get in trouble with their friends and family and coworkers if they get outed as somebody who's maybe listening to some of them liberal TikTokers. Like, you can have your anonymity. That's okay. You cannot have anonymity and brag about being the head of a labor union. Completely unacceptable. We're going to talk to Diane Wade, and we're going to see if he or she is a Trump supporter. Hello. Hello.
Often concerned with age-related.
Did you mean to join?
Decline. I recommend Qnol Brain Health with 2 powerful.
I don't think they knew that they were here. Yeah. Show off, show your face. Yeah, I like that Shrek of New York. That's a good policy. Really. Because it just so rubs me the wrong way when people brag about who they are behind the shield of TikTok anonymity. It's so how insecure of them. And yeah, I mean, people call me a coward, and it's like, for fucking what? Like, come on. I'd love to get one more debate in. I'd love to get somebody to actually turn on their camera. So let's keep double tapping away on the screen over on TikTok. And hello to my new 150 followers. I don't know how many of you are still here, but if you're new, say I'm new in the chat so I can see some of you. Because if you're new to the Oskar Quentin show, hopefully you are enjoying that I fucking stand on business here. And a lot of the callers don't. And I like calling it up. Man, so many new people hanging out. Welcome, everybody. If you're not new, welcome all the new people. New people. I am tricking you guys into engaging by doing all of this. Thank you. Look, it's friendly tomfoolery. We all want the show to succeed. We all want there to be an oppositional call so I can have a conversation. So forgive me for tricking you into engaging, but you know, it is part of the job. It's part of the gig. You got to. That's why we poll the chat on things. That's why we say baby bottles in the chat. That's why we ask questions. But welcome to the show. Oh yeah, there's some people who are new but not new from today, like new this week. Lots of people new this week. Let's see. Sleepy saw me on Dean's, and I like how you speak. Yeah, that show's about me speaking. Sue also does debates. Does Sue get a follow? Stay humble, stay educated. Google is free. AI overview is not a source. You know what? The elevator pitch worked, Molly Sue. You got to follow, which means I'll see one of your lives. Maybe I'll pop in. Oh, wow. Lots of nice stuff in the chat today. 2 to 3. I'm like 2 to 3 weeks old here. Does that count? Ah, sure. Hey, 2 to 3 weeks means you were here before Dean. And I think that's the... Sorry, guys. The OG Oscars fan club has closed. I think you had to be here before I was on Dean Withers to be in that club. So maybe you're in that club because you've been here 2 or 3 weeks. But are you a master debater? We had master debater on here yesterday. He is not a master debater. He's a white nationalist is what he is. And I clown the shit out of him in the first few minutes of my show yesterday. That's on YouTube. There are not enough jokes about this being episode number 69. Ain't nobody told me a joke about this being episode 69. Not one. First video I found was you playing guitar. Did somebody find my debates because they were a fan of my music instead of the other way around? No way. Bizarre. What about before you were on his stream, but after he sent you a raid? Edge case. We're an inclusive group. You can be in the club. Do I have a Discord? Miles, yes I do. Talk to the mods. I'm mostly hands off with how the Discord is managed. Congrats on the fun number. See, look. We made it through 6-7 without too many 6-7 jokes. I think possibly my audience just isn't a bunch of children and don't find it that funny that it's the 69th episode. Do I listen to Radiolab? Oh yeah, Tarantula, I saw your message. I'm sorry I didn't respond. I haven't gotten through all my TikTok messages in a little while. But yeah, I do like Radiolab. I catch it on the actual radio sometimes when I'm driving. Elliot sent me $1 on Venmo to add something to the conversation. From Nurse Elliot, I'd love to hop on sometime to give a platform for sexual health and PrEP during Pride Month. Still shopping right now, though, LMAO. I am doing the show the normal time tomorrow, and it's still Pride weekend. If you want to come up and have a Pride-centric conversation, I'll expand the friendly hour tomorrow. If you want to call in starting at 11 Central Time, that'd be great. I'd love to talk about that stuff, even if it hurts the viewership, because I am doing this because I fucking care about people. So if I have to sacrifice my viewership for important content because I built a viewership by being entertaining, that is the entire purpose of the show. So I'm okay with that. Scarlet TV says, I think I found you because of your music. Then it was a double win because you also do debates. That's crazy. That's crazy that people are finding me. I haven't even been focusing very hard on the music on my social media, but I am a musician in my real life. I guess this is my real life. I don't know. Oskar Quentin does a bunch of stuff. Music and debates. Jacob sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say, I love that you run these shows like a high school class. It's amazing. I'm also a fellow musician and would love for you to check out my band, Dan Flashes. You know what, Dan Flashes? You get an Oskar Quentin crayon Post-it for me to check out your music. I will listen to your music while I smoke the post-show doobie before I go hang out with my friends on Pride. Dan Flashes. Can't vouch, but check them out because it's friendly time and we should support each other. Gotta support your fellow artist. And by the way, the reason I run my stream like it's a high school class is because I'm a high school teacher. I quit my job as a high school teacher to run this show. So you fucking got me. We're gonna talk to ParadoxOfTollerence, who was up and had a really interesting point that I immediately forgot which one you are. I'm very sorry. Remind me.
Oh, hey, I'm in. Sorry.
Yes. Yeah.
I'm 50. Yeah, I'm a friendly. Great. I've been watching your show for a couple months. Love the teacher mode. I'm just going to glaze you for a second, if that's okay. You're the guy who said that Democrats
are regressives, right? Or conservatives are regressives and Democrats are conservatives?
Yeah. I think you've made a point on your show to, hey, let's understand what the definition of the word is, and then let's use it correctly. And I think that's really, really missing in American politics, especially, unfortunately, from our media, where we're not calling things defining things correctly, and it's an injustice to allow MAGA and the Republican Party to be called conservatives, because they're not. Their tax policy isn't, their economics isn't, their social policy. These are all regressive things. And, you have to understand the Overton window and just how far that has shifted since, say, Reagan. Mm-hmm. And I think that's really a point I want to make too. Is that
I'll jump in. I'll jump in and do the teacher thing, because a lot of people don't know what the Overton window is, which is basically this area of the political spectrum that is considered acceptable to people, acceptable to be a part of. Because somebody might be a little farther left or right than you, but we can all sit and have dinner together. But if somebody has a cross on their lawn and and some lighter fluid next to it, you think maybe you're outside my Overton window. Maybe we can't have polite discussion. And there's this thing that's happening slowly in American politics where the Overton window is being shifted right. J.D. Vance himself just pointed out that Watergate could happen today and it would be a 12-hour news cycle. Not the flex you think it is, JD. Holy shit. And I think you're right that your description of this more accurately describes what's going on with the Overton window. And I'll be straightforward with you. If you're going to keep watching the show, I think you're going to notice a subtle change in the way that I talk about establishment Democrats, because I think that your vocabulary is important. I think I'm going to start saying the conservatives, who, by the way, have become quite regressive, the establishment Democrats, who used to be liberal, but are kind of just now conservative, and then people like me who are actually liberal. I think that's I might concisely ball that into my descriptions going forward.
It's not too far in a rearview mirror where there were progressive Republicans and there were conservative Democrats. You could find that ideology on both parties. And that's arguably when, that's changed, when those parties have stopped working for the welfare or the well-being of its citizens, of the people, and are now looking only to look for the welfare of business and capitalism. The fact that socialism has become a bad word, as has liberal. These are actually American values, true American values, in trying to form a more perfect union, right? But things have gotten so far lopsided in the Overton respect, where we're okay with fascism and we still don't know how to define what socialism or even communism is.
Well, and I all those conversations, anytime we're going to talk about something more specific than just right versus left, I immediately say, okay, let's talk about definitions, because I identify as a democratic socialist. That means something in American politics. It means a very AOC, Bernie Sanders type of thing. To a to a Philbro, to somebody who took philosophy in college, which I did, it doesn't mean that. I'm a social democrat by their definition. So I always say, let's really quickly actually just figure out what we mean when we say these things, so we can have a reasonable conversation. And I find that's often the impasse. If they're unwilling to even recognize that there are large swaths of the population that define the words in maybe slightly different ways, slightly nuanced different ways than they do, there's no pleasant conversation to be had. So I think what you're bringing up is really, really important to good discourse.
Yeah, thank you. And that's where I want to use the term, progressive as opposed to left-leaning. This whole left-right thing is, it's dangerous because it doesn't acknowledge that it's a spectrum across with everybody. Everybody has unique views, right? That are informed by not only what we're taught, but our own, genes, you might even say. Where has compassion, empathy, principles, ethics, morals, we've lost these things in exchange for an argument of who's left and who's right, when it should be about who wants to move things forward and who is actively burning things to the ground. It is the arsonist that's victim blaming everyone else.
Yeah, and I often just try to get around it and say, never mind all these labels for a second. What on earth do you want for the American people? What do you what kind of policies do you care about? What are your values? What is important to you? And suddenly, so often you ask a conservative and they're like, well, I'm a Republican. And it's no, forget all that. What do you care about? When you see people suffering, how does it make you feel? I'm sorry, do you not have a good answer for that question? That's a problem.
That's a problem. Well, it is the social contract that has been lost or forgotten or buried beneath the stock exchange, I guess you could say. And that's what, my moniker, yes, it's spelled wrong. Somebody else had the correct spelling of tolerance. But, it is understanding that we want to have an accepting society. We want everyone to be here, except for those that are intolerant to others.
I think that Pride Weekend is a really great time for the Paradox of Tolerance to get some airtime on the show, because it is this broad thing about how if we preach tolerance, we create a system. If we demand tolerance of people, we create a system where the intolerant are very powerful, because there's no system to protect us from them, because we're tolerant of them. That's a fucking problem, which is why you have hyper-tolerant people like me. I think people who've watched me for any extended period of time know I'm mega tolerant. I'm a mega accepting guy, unless you're an intolerant piece of shit, and then the teeth come out. Because we do need to have a seriously averse response to intolerance for the reason that we're both describing. It's this paradox of tolerance. I think it's super important. I think about it all the time, but it's a little bit touchy because the right likes to say that anybody who subscribes to the paradox of tolerance doesn't believe in free speech, because you're going to consider me intolerant for saying something. And the answer, sadly, is yes, you intolerant motherfucker. You just said some intolerant shit. Consequences.
That ultimately does become then victim blaming. Ooh, you're attacking me because I don't think you have the right to be here. Hate speech should be banned. I think freedom of speech is important, but also we have to recognize that sophistry, lies, and fear-mongering don't really have a place there.
Yeah.
And that gets really touchy, right? Because now we are talking about what's acceptable free speech and who gets to make that call. That's a really slippery slope, right?
It does. I talk a lot about how I think we have a lying problem in American politics. It's illegal to lie to Congress, but not illegal to lie to your constituents if you're a political candidate. That seems fishy to me personally, but I recognize that it's really hard to say who gets to be the arbiter of truth, who gets to declare what's true, because there are honest disagreements between the left and right, where the right is honestly in their heart convinced of something that's right or wrong, and then the left is convinced of the opposite. Who's right or wrong, we can't tell. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about lies. I'm talking, and there are certain things we need to approach, with something of an iron fist and say, no, that is false. You shouldn't be allowed to say that if you're running for whatever office. You shouldn't be able to make up fucking nonsense about immigrants if you're somebody who's running for office so that you can contribute to immigration policy. For the same reason that you can't lie to Congress if they're deposing you about immigrants. But it's messy.
And I think that brings you to the place where you're at right now with your show and with so many debaters, is that there really isn't a solid, logical, empathetic case for the right. I'm going to say that word, for these regressive, fascist MAGA. They don't have a leg to stand on. It's all misinformation, and they're either ill-informed or evil, either dumb, either a moron or a monster, I think is what you had on your sign earlier. And we got to call that out.
Yep.
Unabashedly. This isn't a soft-handed conversation anymore. Too much has been lost already, and we may never get it back. But you see that with your show, where it's hard to find a good debate. I really cannot recall a single debate, as long as I've been on the internet, where MAGA has won a debate about any given topic.
The joke I tell my friends when they ask me about doing this for a living is it's great. It's great to be paid to kick toddlers in the face for a living, because that's mostly what I do. Most of these.
The point.
It's not just the cruelty. Really, what it is that toddlers is inept, is what I'm using as the analogy. Most of the people who call into my show are utterly ill-equipped to have a conversation with me. It is shooting fish in a barrel to have a conversation like the one that started yesterday's episode 68, where somebody brought in a source that was nonsense, and he so wanted to run away from the fact that I immediately took the first source that he said and said, nope, that's bullshit, show it to me. And he floundered and he scrambled and ran. And it's just, most of these conversations are there's so many of these shooting fish in a barrel conversations. I wish I could get to some of the harder ones, which maybe I'm going to do, because real politicians are taking me seriously, and I'm getting platformed in some bigger ways. That's the goal, is to have some of these harder conversations with more serious adversaries.
I think that's why your approach is valuable. The teacher mode of Oskar can be really powerful, in the fact that you slow down with some of these, why is it always young males? But that really is a group that has they've just gone so far away from what's right and what's just. When we talk about family values are helping each other, being honest, being accountable, doing the right thing. And
maybe feed some kids along the way or something. Like if the kids are like come on, like. Here, we talked about it earlier in the episode, but we could go back to the preamble of the Constitution. How's about we promote that public welfare?
I brought that up earlier. That's like, for some reason, that's now considered, they've turned welfare into a bad word. I mean, really?
As though it's not in the mission statement of the country. It's absurd. Unless you've got anything else burning, I am gonna move on because I've got somebody else I want to get to.
I just want to pivot real quick to immigration.
Get one more thing out.
Right. 90% of immigrants from the southern border are Christians, and you have this religious group. That claim, these white nationalists that claim Christian values, but the testimony is that you are commanded to welcome the stranger, to feed the poor, to feed and clothe the poor, and they're turning their backs on people that believe the same thing. And this is kind of a point of racism, but I think we have to realize that a Native America within our borders looks very, very similar from Central or South America, right? These are the people that are actually original to this land. And especially if you consider Texas. Texas is the sixth flag state because it's been a part of 6 different nations, right? So it's to not welcome these people. And I'll end on this and let you get on, but the most valuable import that we've ever had in this country is immigrants.
Human capital, man. That's what's been driving progress on Earth. Human capital being properly engaged with by making sure that those people are fed and housed and educated.
And it feeds our most valuable export as well, which is innovation. So thanks for letting me come up and talk. I appreciate you, Oskar.
Appreciate you too. W's in the chat for Paradox of Tolerance. I am going to thank a couple donors, and then we're going to have Sue up quickly, and I might talk to Splinter, but I think he's not a friendly, and I think he might be a fun way to cap the show. We'll see. But David sent me $5 on Venmo to add, is a hot dog a sandwich? Ooh, sorry, we only have 15 minutes left in the show. You need to send that donation at the beginning of the show, and we'll dedicate the entire show to the argument, because that one deserves airtime. I promise it's gonna. That's fuck. I talk about some controversial stuff on here, but the hot dogs being a sandwich, I don't know if I can handle that. Facts Over Feelings supported me with $10 on. Buy me a coffee, actually, which doesn't get used so much as an avenue. He doesn't want to be doxxed, but he just says to mention his TikTok handle and website, factsoverfeelings.org. And he sent me a longer message that I am going to read and consider later. And Indigo, who I've been seeing in the chat all day, sent me $10 just for a hand heart. Hand hearts back for Indigo. Thank you very much. Let's double check Venmo, because those tend to come in slow. And then I believe did I have a super chat or something? I don't think I did. Oh my gosh. The queue is filling up. That was Jacob for $5 over on Super Chat. But I'll bring Sue in, who's potentially a new friend. She has my follow. Will she keep it? I don't know. We'll see. I follow a lot of people just to check out their live show. But from looking at you in the chat, Sue, I think we'll be friends. How old are you?
Hi, I am 36.
Nice to meet you.
I graduated in December with a psychology degree. And I am starting school again for MFT, marriage and family therapy. And when I go on debates, I talk to these MAGAs about their feelings, because apparently it's not facts over feelings anymore. So if you ever need a co-host, I won't be long, but I'm here to tap into their psyche if you ever need that.
Well, yeah, and I'll say this to the other, the regular co-hosts know this, but there's kind of a growing cast of characters who might drop in and bring some extra expertise.
Of course.
Generally, the rule is that if you're watching my show and you're a host and I know who you are, if you hop in the request queue as a known friendly, I will see you there. I may or may not have you up. That just has to do with me steering the ship as the host of the show.
I understand that completely.
So yeah, you get it. Raven gets it. Raven, who's been on the show all the time. Raven's in the queue, like, 30% of the time that the show is live, just there if I need to hit the Raven button. Sometimes I need to hit the Raven button, not always. But yeah, Sue, I'll when I see the red ring, I'll click it and I'll pop by your stream and check you out.
Because I'm able to talk to them about their feelings because they don't like facts.
They do not like.
They do not like facts.
Well, the only thing they like less than facts is direct questions about their feelings. That
Exactly.
W's in the chat for Sue. And everybody, and Sue, you're on the screen, so everybody can click and follow you directly. Go check out.
Thank you so much.
Go check out Sue's show. I'm judging by your behavior in the chat and on the call today because I haven't seen your show, but I'll check it out myself.
Okay, thank you so much, Oskar. You're amazing.
Thanks for hopping up.
Okay, bye.
W's in the chat for Sue. Splinter 84 Delta, is he going to call me a ding-a-ling? We'll see. Hello.
Oskar, what's up, man?
Are you ding-a-ling guy?
What's up, dude?
Yes or no? Are you ding-a-ling guy?
Yes, man. What's up?
Okay, how old are you?
Have a cordial conversation today, man.
I doubt it. How old are you again?
18 and a half years old.
I don't believe you, but whatever. Christine sent me $5 on Venmo to say W teachers in the chat. What do you got, Splinter? You got 11 minutes. What do you want to talk about?
Well, I want to talk about that one last guest brought up and said, oh, all these Christians are coming, from the South. Dude, Tren de Aragua, they're not Christians, dude. They're criminals. Why do you want them in this country?
What percentage of the people who cross the border?
Why do you want them in this country, bud?
Nope, you're gish galloping. You brought up too many things. I have to respond to something that you said prior.
You understand they are coming here, right?
Tren de Aragua?
Yeah, they've been coming here, dude.
How many?
Probably hundreds of thousands.
I don't think that's reasonable.
But we don't really know. But my point is, bro, why do you want them here?
So you don't have a source for that?
Come here?
No, I need to know that they are coming here before I answer that. Do you have a source for you thinking that it's hundreds of thousands?
I'm not in front of my computer, but I could get you a source if you want me to hop on the computer. But you understand, we already know they are here, right? You know they're here already.
No,
right?
no, I don't think we do know that. No, I mean I think some are.
So they're not taking over apartment buildings and shit.
I want sources, man. Like you're saying hundreds of thousands. I think it's way less than that. I think they are a problem. Like those are gangsters.
Give me your source.
Let me tell you this. I think that
bro, give me your source that they're all Christians then.
Why do I need a source for that?
What the fuck, bro? Are you serious?
Are we talking about gangsters or Christians? What is this conversation?
What people here?
Gish gallop, gish gallop, gish gallop, gish gallop, gish gallop, gish gallop. Are we talking about?
Give me 20 seconds.
I'm not going to do that. If we're talking about, if we're not going to gish gallop, are we talking about Christians or gangsters? So you want
me to prove my claim, but you can't prove your claim.
I want to know what we're talking about. I want to stay on one thing. Which thing is it?
Give me a second. The last caller, not the last caller, the caller before said that most of the people coming across the border are 90% Christian. That's false. You don't have any data to back that shit up, dude.
I'm going to Google the religious demographics of Mexico.
That doesn't mean they're all Christian, bud. Tren de Aragua's coming. I mean, dude, what? Oskar, would you let somebody move into your house as a roommate and unvet them?
I'm sorry. Are we talking about
what? Vet them, bud?
Sorry, we're still on the Christians, right? What are we talking about?
Yeah, I'm going to make a point. Bro. Let's say you're looking for a roommate, dude. Yeah, let me make the point. Let's say you're looking for a roommate, right?
Well, hold on. In Mexico...
Don't fucking answer, bud.
Well, I'm answering the thing from earlier, which is that in Mexico, which is what most of the immigrants are, some of them come from other South American countries and other countries globally, but most of them are Mexican. 80% are Catholic, about 10% are some other flavor of Christianity, which adds up to, if my math is correct, about 90%, which does line up...
Christians, then they're Catholics, right?
Are you going to argue to me that Catholics do not count as Christians? Is that your way of getting out of this?
Well, we have different beliefs, but I'm a Christian. But at the end of the day, does that even matter? Does it really even matter? Would you let a stranger move into your house?
I think in this conversation, it does matter whether or not Catholics are Christians, because most of the Christians in Mexico are Catholics.
Would you let a complete stranger move into your house? Yes or no?
I'm sorry. We haven't figured out this religion.
Why won't you fucking answer, bud?
I think I already answered that one earlier in the episode. Somebody else called in with that today.
Dude.
I think so.
You wouldn't let some weird stranger move into your house, bud.
Okay, and I recognize the difference between a private domicile and public property.
And second of all, take that fucking tank top off, my guy. You're a toothpick. You should not be wearing that fucking
Trust me, buddy, if I took the tank top off, you'd get even more insecure.
No, bro. You're a little tiny toothpick, dude. Look at you. Why are you wearing that shit on live, my guy?
Because it offends people like you.
You don't even go to the gym yet. You don't even deserve to wear a tank top.
Okay.
You're a tiny little 120-pound dude who thinks your all shit don't stink because you went on Dean's Live or some shit. You think you're like some white knight coming in here talking shit. You never answer anybody's question, my guy. So I'm gonna ask you again, Oskar. Would you let a complete stranger move into your house and be roommates?
What?
Yeah, of course you're not gonna fucking answer. Yeah, I'm gonna clip this shit too and put it on my wall too, bud.
Okay.
Why won't you let complete strangers move into your house then, buddy? You're not gonna vet them? You're gonna let Jose move in and not know nothing about him?
Sorry, what?
Yeah, you're just a clown, dude. Look at you, man. You don't even answer nobody's question.
Mm-hmm.
America's the most generous country on this planet. We let people in more than any other country, dude. Come here legally.
Mm-hmm. What? Sorry, I'll put my phone down. What?
Yeah, I know you have the attention span of like a 3-year-old, dude. You can't fucking stay focused, okay?
Sorry, I just try to focus on things that are important.
Oskar, why won't you let a complete stranger move into your house? Would you do that? Would you let a complete stranger from Mexico move into your house? Yes or no?
Sorry, does this have to do with Christianity?
Yeah, I'm going to make my point if you just answer the fucking question, you ding-a-ling.
What was the question again?
Yeah, you're a clown, dude. You're dude. Like I said,
Mirror sent me a YouTube super chat for $2. This might be relevant.
You make $40 a day.
Mirrorsphere sent me $2 on YouTube super chat. Thank you, Mirrorsphere, for the $2. They said that Tren de Aragua has 5,000 to 7,000 members. That sounds about right to me, and it also makes some of the things that you've said probably not so reasonable.
Bro, you're just a tiny little puny fuck, man, who won't answer any questions. Like you have no muscle definition, dude.
Can I see your muscles? Can you turn on your camera?
You don't have no muscle definition, my guy. I don't want to make you jealous, dude.
Oh, teeny muscles.
Trust me.
Tiny muscles in the chat.
You'd be jealous.
Tiny muscles and baby battles in the chat for the guy who won't turn on his camera.
Oskar, I'll tell you what. You take your shirt off, and I'll take my shirt off, and I'll go on cam right now.
I'm allowed to do that on TikTok.
No, come on, bro. Take your shirt off and let's see who's got the better physique. Come on, bro. I'll hop on cam right now.
Sir, you are trying to unclothe me. You do not have my consent.
But you're wearing a tank top and you got no muscle definition, my guy.
Mm-hmm.
Why are you wearing that shit?
Can you turn on your camera, please?
Why are you fucking wearing that, my guy? And why can't you answer any questions that I have for you?
Sorry, I can't see you. I'm trying to... Where?
Hey, bro, guess how much I paid for gas here in Florida yesterday? $2.99. Does that make you mad?
What? Sorry, couldn't hear you because your camera's not on.
Does $2.99 of gas make you mad? Does it make you mad, bud? Well, you don't even buy gas because you don't have a fucking car, my guy.
What are we talking about?
You're just a bro. You have simp old women in here that donate $2 or $3 to you, and you think your shit doesn't stink, bro. You don't even make $1,000 a week. You don't even pay taxes, my guy. You're under the 24,000% bracket. You don't even pay into the system. How are you going to get Social Security, dude?
Sorry, are we talking about Christianity, my muscle mass, or taxes?
Well, you can't answer any questions, so I'm just trying to hit you with a question you'll answer, my guy. So which one do you want to focus on?
The one where I asked you to turn your camera on and you refused.
Physique, bro? Do you want to go shirtless and see who has the best physique, yes or no?
No, I don't want to do that.
Yeah, because you'll get cooked, dude. You'll get fucking cooked. Stop touching your mouth, you fucking weirdo. Why do you keep touching your mouth?
Ego sent me $2 on YouTube Super Chat to say, take it off. Makes it rain with $2 bills.
Fucking snaggle teeth, bro. Look at your snaggle teeth, my guy.
Oh, dude, there's this dentist in California. I have a road trip planned next month because he's going to give me a free set of teeth.
Hey, Oskar.
Somebody wants this dentist in California. He wants to see my teeth. He wants to fix them for me.
I'll tell you what. I'm pre-gym. I haven't worked out
road trip fund. Get Oskar some new twofers.
I'll take my I'll go shirtless. You go shirtless, and let's see who decides in the chat who has a better physique.
No, thank you.
Yeah, because you're a puny little fuck, dude. You can't even bench press your own weight. And you're up here with a fucking shitty tank top from Goodwill that your mom picked out for you.
Dizzy sent me $5 to say I like your tank top.
Bro.
Dizzy sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say I like your tank top. My friends hate this tank top because it's skin tone, but I kind of love it. Tavi sent me $2 to say this alleged 18.5-year-old is crashing out hard. I agree. Thanks for all the baby bottles in the chat, everybody.
I'm crashing out because I'm asking you a question you can't answer, my guy. Would you let a complete stranger move into your house?
Why is my Venmo balance so much? Oh my God, hold on. What did Christine say?
$45.
No, that was WT Trues.
You understand, like, this isn't a flex, right?
David, hold on. David sent me 40. David sent me
flex. Whip-de-doo, bud. $39. Oh my God. Why are you acting like this is a flex, though, guy?
I just want to show that David said Oscars like $40 a day per Splinter. Thank you, Splinter, for tricking. Well, I guess he didn't really trick him. Thank you, David, for clowning on Splinter by sending me that $40. That's very funny. And that's also $40. Thank you very much. That goes a long way.
Yeah,
for,
buying stuff for the show. Change, bro. That's you standing at the corner of a street asking for fucking money with a sign. I'm a bum loser.
Araxis sent me $2 on Cash App to say Splinter generously licks.
Hey, Oscar, how am I
orange
so insecure?
Taint.
Hey, bro, how am I so insecure when I'm telling you to go? Let's go on cam right now.
Hold on.
I'm not insecure, bud.
Hold on.
I'm not insecure. No, there's no holding on, bud. I'm secure. So let's prove who has a better physique right now. Let's do it.
Hold on. Brent sent me $20 on Cash App to say, love your live streams. And then Gen X Leftist sent me another $2. What did she say? She said, my guy needs some milk.
This is what they do, guys. They always
baby bottles
go to
in the chat.
Fake donation chats when they lose in a debate.
Hold on, my fucking
dude. About MAGA is insecure,
David,
bro. I'm totally
holy shit.
secure in my body. Totally
David sent me,
but you won't go shirtless, bud.
David sent me another $100 to say chump change.
Yeah, and guess what?
Splinter.
David probably wants to butt fuck you in your ass, dude. He's probably gay.
What are we up to? Like $180 in donations because of Splinter? Thanks, everybody. This is crazy.
And they want to butt fuck
Caroline sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say this dude clearly peaked in middle school. Ooh, burn. Appreciate that.
Oh, that was such a great burn, buddy. You got me on that one.
Pretty good. Jennifer sent me...
You're the one insecure, buddy. You're the one insecure.
Jennifer sent me $42 on Venmo to say, what's the meaning of life? Not Splinter. Thank you so much, Jennifer.
Bro, how does it feel to have
W's in the chat for David and Jennifer. They really get the bit that I'm doing.
Bird chest? You have a bird chest, my guy. You don't even work out. Why are you wearing a tank top?
Hold on. People are sending more donations. What the fuck? Paul, thank you for the $5 on Venmo. I know Splinter personally, and he's got zero muscle mass. Paul says he knows...
Another gay guy that wants to butt fuck you, dude.
Paul says that he knows you in real life and that you've got no muscle mass. I find that to be interesting.
Yeah, let's go. Okay, take your shirt off and let's go. I'll go live. I'll go on camera.
Your camera's not even on. You should just turn your camera. Dawn of Alaska just became a member over on YouTube. Bro, thank you so much. Using my monthly sub chat to let this caller know he's a homophobic chud, going around to every stream trying to get attention because he's lonely. Well, I just gotta thank the donors, you know? David isn't the one begging to see you shirtless.
You ain't no fucking Dean, buddy.
Thank you,
Get your fucking
Ego.
boyfriend Dean in here.
Man, the chuds are always so...
MAGA. I'm not insecure, though, Oscar. I'm secure. Let's go live on camera, shirtless, and see who has the better physique. I already know I could beat the shit out of you.
I'm not
the fuck out of you in real life.
Is that a threat?
One little slap to your little glass jaw, bro, and you'd be crying to your mommy, dude.
Okay.
Look how your jaw is such a little glass fucking man. I'm telling you, one little uppercut, dude. You're bobblehead your fucking bitch ass.
Check my email. Might have some buy me coffees to read. Nope, but we do have Splinter. You are just all over my notifications today because Matthew sent me $5 on Cash App to say Splinter is trying to come out of the closet.
Money, Oscar, that's why, man. That's why you gotta bring me up more.
Splinter,
why don't you? So here's the thing. I'm not even gonna ask you to share the money with me because I don't need your petty little fucking change, your pocket change, buddy. I mean, Oscar, here's the thing. I made over like 15 grand today.
Hell's Pacifist sent me $5 on YouTube Super Chat to say it's funny how quiet these guys are in real life. That yearning for attention. Every one of them looks down when you look at them.
Quiet in real life, bro. Hey, I will pay you to come to Florida and we'll have a debate face to face.
No, my audience is going to pay me to go to California and get new teeth. Thank you for the glowing jellyfish, Nancy. I appreciate you so much.
I'm willing to fly you to Florida. I'll pay for your flight.
David, holy shit. David, keep sending me money.
So why do you keep interrupting me, bro?
David sent me another $40 to say Splinter won't see a penny of this. Ha ha ha. We're up to like 200. I can't even keep track of how many donations I've received during the Splinter call. I was supposed to be done at 12, but the show is so profitable that I'm going to be late for my plans with the friends.
Little pussy. You don't have any friends, bro. Your mom doesn't count as your friend, buddy. I'll fly you to Florida. We'll debate face to face, no computers, no phone, and we'll record it. And then we're going to see who wins the debate, bud. Oh, you're going to bring your fucking friend Matt up here who butt fucks you on the weekend? Look, he's bringing all his little buddies up here.
What's up, Matt?
Hey, but I just want to tell you, man.
You just want to butt fuck him, don't you?
I got to tell you, bud, especially at the end of Pride.
I muted him.
Really impressed.
Dude?
I am just so impressed for you that you have somebody who is simping this hard for you, that he is begging for you to take your shirt off.
Bro, you have a receding hairline, buddy.
W's for you. And by the way,
you have a receding hairline, buddy.
I know, but I know you also asked me to take my shirt off too, Oscar. It is a
bro,
wonderful
you're hella
thing.
out of shade.
I know, but I know you asked me to take my shirt off too, Oscar. I gotta tell you, man, isn't it lovely, especially during Pride, to have some people who are so open and able to be so wonderful? I just love this for us. You know, it's really wonderful. Oh, he left. Oh, that's too bad.
Well, I think there's something beautiful about ending the Pride Day episode with a slur and run on the F word.
That's literally what I was going to come up and say. It's so fitting that episode 69 on Pride Day ended with
I saw him in the chat, and I thought I saw him in the request queue, and I thought, what a chef's kiss that'll be for this otherwise mostly friendlies only episode. How wonderful. Thank W's in the chat for Splinter, because Raven, who's one of the employees on the show, as is Jesse, who might be in the chat.
Friends that he says you don't have.
True. Yeah, we're gonna be we got some work to do in the next hour, and then we're gonna be doing some friend stuff for the rest of the day because it's Pride Day. So yeah, a bunch of the Splinter money is going to Raven and Jesse for working for the show. So W's in the chat for Splinter for paying for the show for the day by getting everybody to donate me money. I do have a fucking pile of donations to read, so I'm gonna do that before I wrap the show. Anything else, Matt or Raven?
Nope, that's it. Thank you, Matt.
No, I did want to say, Oscar, I did want to say real quick though, shoot me a message when you get a chance, because I definitely want to help you with the. We should touch base about your audio stuff at some point. But I hope you have a great rest of your day, dude. Take care.
W's for Matt, W's for Raven, W's for everybody. What a nice day I'm having. It's such a privilege that when the show is this successful, that even like what feels like a slow day in terms of getting callers is still just like a really wonderful show. And as you guys saw, very profitable. Because I mean, like, is Splinter trying to help us? Is that like, is he like low key a friendly trying to pay my fucking bills for me? Like, what the actual fuck is his goal? Like, I don't know. Ego sent me $2 on YouTube Super Chat to say, I will fight Splinter. I'm a 40-plus-year-old woman. Very funny. Did I even get to read David's other message? He sent me like $180 total, with the last message being, Splinter won't see a penny of this. Ha ha ha. Fucking W's for David. Different Dave sent me $5 on Venmo to say, why was the guest so obsessed with seeing your... Ooh, let's read the rest of that Venmo. Venmo refresh. Why was the guest so obsessed with seeing your muscles shirtless? I think it was because he was insecure, personally. That's what I think. I don't know. I don't. It's hard to talk to that guy, so I can't really understand any of his motivations. His behavior, though, is bizarre. Ruka sent me $20 on Cash App to say, why is he so invested in seeing your body? I don't know. I'm a handsome guy, according to the people I sleep with, so, I don't think I've slept with Splinter. Pretty sure I haven't. Lucky Phil 8888 says, the A, is that Australian? I thought Australian was AUS. Somebody tell me what currency that is. I'm curious. But he sent me $5 of whatever that currency is to say, pounds to peanuts. This guy has a Grindr Unlimited account and loves when TPUSA comes to town for the hookups. The guy sounds so insecure. I think I was thinking about Splinter when I wrote the fucking sign today. I was doodling them baby bottles with my Sharpie, thinking I hope Splinter calls in today. He might be the least secure guest I have ever had on the show. fucking unbelievable. Thanks for a fun show, everybody. We're 7 minutes over, and I was supposed to finish right at noon sharp, but all the donations kept coming in, and I got to pay the bills and the staff. So all of that. Linktree in the bio to follow me on the other platforms. Make sure you're following Oskar Quentin too, because that's where the show is going to be hosted when this account gets taken down for some silly reason. And if you want to support the show financially, I think you guys know the ways to do that. It's Venmo, Cash App, Buy Me a Coffee, and Patreon. And soon, hopefully, an international tip jar, because I know the international guys have been complaining about not being able to support. And we're doing more because I have free time, because I have staff. More stuff coming, more streams, longer streams. We're gonna break out of the 10 to 12 Central Time block eventually. Not yet. Maybe in a month or sooner, hopefully. I want to... Oh, PayPal. Somebody's sending me PayPal. Some people have PayPal because they're private people who know me, and I have a burner PayPal type of situation. Is there? I don't know. I don't see any... Oh, I do see 20 from Jen, but that was kind of a message. Thank you, Jen, for the $20. I don't see anything on PayPal. You shouldn't find a publicly available Oskar Quentin PayPal. There is no such thing. Do not do that. Anyway, sorry if you sent your money to the wrong place. I hope it wasn't much. Anyway, 7 p.m. Central Time, the evening show, mystery guest, because Doug Chapin has rescheduled. So he's coming soon. And then the members only stream, a lot of people became members over on YouTube today. If you're a paying monthly member on YouTube, Instagram, TikTok, or Facebook, you get the members only chat where I actually read every message in the chat. And last week it was like a race. I was like drunkenly trying to get to the bottom of the chat because it actually got a little bit out of hand while I was troubleshooting at the beginning. Hopefully less troubleshooting this week, but members only chat in the evening on Sunday after the Sunday evening show, which starts at 7 Central, is done. Don't know how long that runs, so it's going to be different every week. But that's the show. Goodbye, everybody. Love you guys. Goodbye, TikTok. See you tomorrow at 10 o'clock Central Time. And goodbye, YouTube.